All right, and we're live, so probably have some people trickle in here slowly.
Okay, we are live on yours?
Yep, we're live on my end. What's going on, guys, for anybody that just got in here?
All right, hold on one sec. Let me turn it on live on my end then. Give me one sec. All right, we're live on my end as well. Let me clean some of this stuff up, though. All right, my volume's up, too, so they can hear. And I'm not blowing out your eardrums,
Nope,
right?
You sound good now.
Okay, cool. All right, give me one sec, chat. Let me turn my camera off. Deactivate, boom. All right, cool, okay. Welcome to the stream, people, welcome to the stream. Getting some things going here. You're live on your end, right, Riyad?
Yep, we're live. The chat's moving. What's going on, everybody? I got a few people in here.
Okay, nice. All right, so I'll be live on mine for a little bit, and then we'll move everybody over.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. We got a couple things that we're going to talk about. This is going to be very heavy foreign affairs-wise, especially Middle Eastern foreign affairs. So if you guys are interested in that type of thing, you've come to the right place, my friends. We're live on my channel as well as on my brother's channel. If you guys are not following, you guys need to follow. It's called Riyad Report. Make sure to go support him over there. I think I got him tagged in the title as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you did.
We got him to his first 1,000 subscribers. We're sitting over like 2,000 now, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm at 4,000 almost. I'm at 3.9K, I believe. So
nice.
I really appreciate the love, guys. Thank you so much for the unwavering support. I've gotten like flooded in my DMs, my ex DMs, everything like that. So much love to you guys. You don't understand how much that means. Really means a lot for my channel to blow up that quickly. And I should, again, I know the audio trolls, niggas got really cheap headphones, but I should sound better tonight. I played around with my mixer and set some things up differently, so it should be coming in really clear. But I have my chat up this time, so if there's any issues, please just let me know. But yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what we could do is we could start with the meeting and how we got here. Just give me 1 sec. I'm like adjusting my chats real fast. Give me 1 sec, ninjas. Oh fuck. And sorry for the delay, guys. Like, I am so dead right now. I literally, as you guys know, we're gonna be doing a 3P today. We got after hours coming up as well. We were gonna do a regular show of F&F, but today's episode is very important. So probably won't do that, but we do got something very important tomorrow. We're going to be going crazy on Twitter tomorrow, so we're going to need all your guys' support. I'm going to cover that as well. So, you know, some bullshit's been going on, and we're fucking fighting back, bro, honestly, because it's been pissing me off. My brother knows all about it. We'll talk about it more detail. I might mention it tonight, but audio should be good. You guys should be able to hear me here. And I think we are live on everything. Let me get the chat going as well. Let me show that on screen. And then we're going to go ahead and cover what we got going on here. A lot of developments, important stuff that we need to talk about. A bunch of stuff going on in the region all over the place. Okay, so how the hell did we get here? Okay. As you guys know, we have not had the best relationship with Iran, and this has been going on since what, 1979?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you guys, if we really want to go back with the history of Iran, you got to go back to like 1953 with Operation Ajax, where we basically overthrew their government alongside the MI6 and the Mossad and the CIA, which back then, it was the CIA back then. And it was because of their, oil, essentially. They wanted to, they wanted a little bit of autonomy with their own resources. We said no because the Brits haven't had a problem with that. We went in and overthrew Mossadegh, got him jailed and killed. And this led to the Shah taking over, or the Shah's father, if I'm not mistaken, taking over for roughly 20 plus years. This led to the Iranian Revolution of 1979 and the theocracy that we have in power now. And that's who's been in power pretty much the whole time. That style of governance. Obviously, they have a very big issue. Their top ops are Israel, okay? And they've had a problem with Israel. Oh, shit. You got top H here. Speaking of Israel.
Yeah, I didn't
New
even
book coming out soon, niggas. Why wouldn't deserve even less though? Coming very soon, niggas. Okay. So anyway, sorry, that was from OSS earlier. So anyway, Iran has been really, well, the entire Muslim world has had a problem with Israel's presence there, but through either coups, wars, assassinations, destabilization efforts by the West, Israel's basically toppled and destroyed every single Muslim/Arab country that stood in its way in the Middle East from being the hegemon in the Middle East. And the only country that's left now at this point, guys, is Iran. Okay? And what Iran has done, knowing that Israel is a very capable military and a very capable intelligence powerhouse alongside the United States, is they've done a couple of things to protect themselves, okay? And the things that they did to protect themselves was, number one, create the Axis of Resistance, which essentially funds and supports a bunch of proxy powers in the region, okay, to combat Israel's aggression, okay? They support the Houthis in Yemen. They support Hamas in the Gaza Strip, who's literally right there on the Israeli border. I don't know if you can pull up a map real quick for me, Riyadh,
sure.
on your side. And they also support the Hezbollah. Okay, Hezbollah in Lebanon, who's to the north. So if you guys look at this geographically, which my brother's going to pull up for you guys right now, basically what Iran has cleverly done is they've created a ring of fire surrounding Israel and also the Bashar al-Assad regime. Okay, with Syria in the north, right? So this has created a difficult situation for the Israelis. Next, they have a threshold nuclear state. What does this mean? This means that they have talented scientists that have been, having a civilian nuclear program, but at the same time, they've been working towards enriching uranium to high levels. Okay, we've seen it at 60 all the way up to 80%. And by many different standards, the Iranians can absolutely, oh shit, my bad. Let me
You're good.
Give you co-host here. I was wondering why wasn't coming up. Okay. So by many different standards, right? And here's a picture of the Middle East here, guys, right? So we can go ahead and let me go through it one more time. So we have Iran, right, in the center. Okay? Then you see to their west is Iraq. Now, it is important to understand that for a very long time, the Iranians and the Iraqis fought, which my brother's going to go into a little bit of that later on when he gives you guys his monologue. But as of late, since the fall of Saddam Hussein, Iraq has become an ally for the Iranians. There are Iranian-backed proxy groups in Iraq.
Yep.
Okay? Then you have Syria, right, to the west of Iraq. Okay, this was run by Bashar al-Assad for a very long time. Okay, right there in Damascus. Then you have Lebanon. With Beirut, Hezbollah stronghold. And I would argue that Hezbollah has been the strongest proxy group in this acts of resistance
100%.
against the Israelis. They've fought the Israelis on multiple occasions in the 80s, in 2006, multiple skirmishes in the 2000s. And they've won, actually. They've actually beaten the Israelis on the floor, on the ground, many times. And then you have, obviously, the Gaza Strip down below, where we're all very familiar with where Gaza is now, obviously, after what Israel did with the genocide. And then you got the Houthis all the way down in Yemen, right? Now, the Houthis, right, and they control basically the western side, especially hugging the seaboard area of Yemen. Now, the Houthis are kind of interesting because with them, they're not just a resistance group, they're also pirate niggas, okay? And they basically have been choking Israel financially and have bankrupted one of their ports completely. Okay, by boarding ships, and they're like, as my brother calls them, what do you call them, Riyadh? You call them cockroaches?
Yeah, they're cockroaches because they just don't die. And I'll go into that later, how much adversity they faced, yet they still have a very, very strong existence and presence in Yemen today.
Yes, so extremely difficult to deal with, extremely mobile, extremely, they're a competent fighting force.
Yeah.
The United States had to have a ceasefire with these niggas. So
they're very elusive. They're very
so it's very difficult to hit them, right? They're probably, I would say Hezbollah is their strongest, then the Houthis are just like the most difficult to deal with. And these guys have been sending missiles into Israel and creating this problem for Israel for a very long time.
Yep.
So one of Iran's, and it's important that you guys understand this because this is what's going to lead into what we talk about next. So they have four different combat strategies of combating Israel in the West. So number one is the proxy groups, the acts of resistance, right? Which they fund and back, okay? Because this creates insulation for them, right? And protection from Israel. Next, their ballistic missile program, which honestly is the centerpiece of these strategies. It's not the nuclear program anymore, it's the ballistic missile program, okay? It is a extremely dangerous and powerful ballistic missile program. Everyone underestimated them, and they proved the world, they really shocked the world in the 12-day war. And we're going to talk about this in a little bit more detail about why the ballistic missile program has become basically the forefront of negotiations now, okay? The Israelis and the United States really undersold how badly the Israelis were getting fucked up during the 12-day war, but now this has become the centerpiece of negotiations and what they want to talk about the most because it caused the Israelis quite a bit of damage. And quite frankly, the Israeli government was begging for a ceasefire because in a war of attrition, those ballistic missiles were going to level Tel Aviv, and the Iranians were extremely accurate and extremely lethal, and they were able to get around the Israelis' air defense, okay? So their ballistic missile program. So their nuclear program, their ballistic missile program, and they also have a very competent and strong drone program as well. Okay, so drones and ballistic missiles. And then lastly,
they also have 1 million plus men ready to fight on the ground.
Yes, they have a lot of people don't know this as well. The IRGC and the Iranian military in general, okay, huge fighting force, huge fighting force. And the other thing you guys got to understand is that Iran's a big country, okay? 90 million people. It's a big fucking country, all right? Compared to Israel's, what, 9 or 8 million?
Yeah, and they have a ton of landmass, way bigger than Iraq, way bigger than Afghanistan, or similar size almost. But the issue is the terrain is similar. And so one of the biggest issues we had when we were fighting in the Middle East, honestly up until this day, but starting in 2003, we had a really hard time dealing with the terrain. Iran is very mountainous. Actually, you can see in this photo right here, Iran is incredibly mountainous. There's several different biomes that you'll come across in this land and in the Middle East in regards to Iran, Afghanistan, Iraq. And this is an advantage for the home country. This is a home court advantage. These people know their land, and this is precisely what we saw when the U.S. military was intervening in Afghanistan. The Pashtuns, and I know this is kind of abrasive to say, whooped their ass, for lack of a better term, and that's just because they were so much more familiar with their homeland and the terrain, how to deal with it, extreme heat. Tehran is a really interesting position where in some instances of Iran you have snowy mountains, but then in other areas of Iran you have desert that's incredibly hot. So that's also adds another element of difficulty for the United States and our military to intervene, especially if we get really deep into the waters of war and get boots on ground, which will result in, unfortunately, hundreds of thousands of casualties.
So just a recap. So Iranians' strengths are this. You got the axis of resistance, okay? You have their ballistic missile program, you have their nuclear program, and then the last thing that they have is the ability to really inflict serious economic damage and what's also known as asymmetric warfare. The Iranians know they can't beat us in an actual head-on collision war. Okay, we'll just nuke them, they'll get destroyed, it is what it is, it's over, right? But what they can do, and what they've proven, actually, which we're going to talk about this as well, is that they can absolutely make it painful for us to fight them, okay? They can shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which 20 to 30% of the world's oil goes through. They can hit oil refineries. They can hit oil fields. They can really demolish the Gulf, okay? Qatar, Saudi Arabia, all of our allies are sitting ducks where they're at. And Iran has the capability to hit all of these locations. Yep. They can destroy our military base in how do you pronounce it? I can never pronounce it, bro.
Where?
That area, the base in the Middle East, the biggest Aluyad base. All right, whatever. I can't pronounce it, and I'm tired right now. But they could hit that base, right? They already did a symbolic strike on it last year, right? In June of 2026.
And by the way,
June
guys,
2025.
Just so you know, this is when people refer to the Gulf, I feel like a lot of people don't know exactly what that is. This is the Gulf. So it spans all the way from Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, all these countries here, and they damn near border Iran. The only thing that separates them is the border between Iraq and Iran, as well as the Persian Gulf here in the Strait of Hormuz, which he was just referring to. So this is kind of the Gulf for a better understanding. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so those are the four things that's kept Iran alive in these multiple decades. Okay, so again, their ballistic missile program and drone program, which is very sophisticated, one of the best in the world. Okay, they have hypersonic missiles. We don't. Just to remind you guys. Okay, very advanced. The axis of resistance, which has been weakened significantly. Bashar's gone. Hamas has been dismantled. Hezbollah has been, weakened significantly and hasn't been able to replenish. Their nuclear program, which they've always been a nuclear threshold state, they have the ability to, and they were going to get a nuclear bomb before they were getting hit by us. And then obviously the ability to conduct asymmetric warfare where they're able to not necessarily defeat the United States, but make it where the United States would incur serious casualties and create economic destruction if anything were to happen. Okay. So we talked about Iran. We talked about the history of Iran. We talked about Israel and their top op, the United States. And we also talked about their ability to conduct warfare and their strengths. Let's go into what's been going on over the past few days. So over the past few days, okay, a drone went out to find the aircraft carrier, the Lincoln, okay, which has been out there with an entire armada of ships. We don't got a screen share on this one, Rad. We could go just regular, just us, right? And then we'll get in. And then when you cover your part, you're gonna have it.
Sure.
So this drone, guys, was able to get out there and collect vital information before being shot down by a fighter jet. Now, this drone is domestically made and costs about $20,000. Okay, it was able to get out there, collect information on where the ships were, the aircraft carrier, all of its defenses, etc., before it telegraphed that information back to the Iranians, and they had to scramble a fighter jet to shoot down this drone. Now, here's the problem here. That drone is cheap. They make it domestically, roughly $20,000, maybe if not less, okay? Because that's probably what they sell to the Russians for. It's probably less to make. They had to scramble a fighter jet, which probably cost a bunch of money to scramble it, and then the missile that they used to shoot down that drone probably cost significantly more than that drone. I think you guys see where I'm going here. We're running into the same exact problem that the Israelis ran into when fighting the Iranians. And since the Iranians are fairly resourceful and make a lot of their own weaponry, besides a lot of their sophisticated stuff, which we're going to talk about that as well, with the Chinese, okay? They have and they're also in their backyard, right? And the United States has a very long supply chain that they have to constantly replenish and take care of and to support and protect. Meanwhile, the Iranians are right there in their backyard. This puts us at a disadvantage. And I've told you guys this before. When it comes to warfare, the defending country is always has a significant advantage over an invading country, okay? So this drone got shut down, but they were able to go ahead and get the information. Now, this forced the United States to back up. They had to push the entire Armada fleet back a bit, okay? On top of that, okay, the United States was slated to have talks with the Iranians in Istanbul, Turkey, okay? And the discussion was supposed to be on three things: their nuclear program, their ballistic missile program, and their support of these proxies in the region. The Iranians said, the only thing that we are open to discuss with you guys is the nuclear program, which they've always used the nuclear program as kind of like a giveaway, right? They've always refined or enriched the uranium to high levels as a negotiation tactic. This is how the JCPOA came to play, by the way, which my brother explained last time, which I really encourage you guys, if you guys have not watched that, I think I have a clip on my channel. My brother explained the JCPOA in detail. Please go check that out. If you're not familiar with it, it goes into all the detail, how actually won Trump his 2016 candidacy, right? So anyway, and then they also said that they wanted to move the meeting location. Where did they want to move it, Riyadh? Do you remember?
So it originally was supposed to be in Istanbul, and now it's going
Where
to be
did they
in
want to move
Oman. Muscat, Oman, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
They wanted to move it to Oman. The United States said no to both. They said, we need to talk about your ballistic missile program and your proxy behavior, and we're not going to move to Oman. And the Iranians said no. Now, that was a non-starter for Trump because Trump wanted to deal with the ballistic missile program. He wanted to talk about the ballistic missile program because, and now everything is starting to make sense, by the way, why, for a very long time, and I was talking about this with my brother. If you guys remember, back in April of 2024, if I'm not mistaken, was it 20? Yeah, I think it was April 2024. They bombed the Iranian embassy in Syria, right? And the Iranians did not hit the Israelis hard as I thought they would. I was like, man, these guys are pussies. Like, man, these guys are paper tigers. They're talking about, we're gonna promise destruction to the Zionists, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm starting to see why they didn't do that. If you guys remember, it took Operation Rising Lion, where the Israelis basically did their whole fucking, Pearl Harbor type attack, for the Iranians to actually show some teeth and attack the Israelis back. And boy, did they fucking hit those Israelis back. They hit them back very hard. They hit them back so hard that the Israelis had a fucking law at the time. Ben-Gvir and all these guys were arresting journalists for reporting damage in Israel and damage in Haifa, damage in Tel Aviv. They absolutely demolished them back. Okay? And outside of Western media, which is run by them, by the way, outside of Western media, everywhere else in the world was reporting this. They were taking German journalists and saying, you can't record this. It's national security. Even American journalists, like Fox News, I think there was a guy in front of an ambulance. When the Iranians struck Tel Aviv, they couldn't record it because the Israelis did not want the Iranians and the world to know that they were getting hit back. And the Iron Dome, the David Sling, and the Arrow were failing. Okay? Iran showcased some of their ballistic capabilities, and they showcased some of their hypersonic missiles. That, my friends, is why the Israelis are terrified and not launching the first attack. And also, I'm starting to realize why the Iranians did not showcase some of their firepower. It invited aggression from the Israelis and the United States. Because now that the United States and the Israelis know what they're capable of and understand how bad these missiles can actually hurt Israel, it has made it where now the Israelis, if you notice, guys, they don't care so much about the nuclear weapons anymore. They care more about the ballistic missile program. And the scariest part is this, guys. The Iranians didn't even use their best shit yet. They did not use their best shit. Their best shit is pointed at the United States resources. It's not pointed at Israel. Those were just the missiles they were able to scramble quickly to attack Israel in retaliation. So now everything makes sense why the Iranians have been so restrained and used such like little firepower, and why they've been so cautious in all of their responses. They understood that by attacking too hard, they show capabilities. When they show capabilities, this invites aggression from the West. So anyway, I'm going to turn it over to my brother. I went over the drone. I went over the talks. We predicted this a couple days ago that they weren't going to be, nothing was going to happen. I told y'all the first thing they're going to try to do is get rid of their ballistic missile program, which is exactly what keeps them protected in the first place. So anyway, Riyad, take it away, bro. I know you have a lot that you want to cover, but we covered Iran, we covered the drone, we covered why the talks fell apart, and we covered the lore. So
no, that's comprehensive. That's really good. And what I was going to kind of get into, and just to kind of tally off of that, it's absolutely...
Oh shit! Can I read chats real quick? Actually.
Oh yeah, please.
Before,
please.
Yeah. Let me read these chats because he's got a lot to cover here. So let me get these in now. Okay, we got here. Mayor Cell, Sub Ninja, thanks for the work you're doing. Your thoughts on Candace Owens spreading conspiracies about TPOS and Kirk's death, RIP. I don't cover that stuff, so I don't know. Martin, how can I get into clipping for you, or is that OSS Ranger thing? Hit up Brett. He's not going to talk to you unless you're one of the people. Good high IQ content. Thank you, Jason Gerst. Nightly Wisdom, W Show checking in. What the fuck, man? Is this a Myron collab? Why does bro look more like Myron than Myron himself? Helemi, thoughts on the U.S. warning Algeria that they may impose CATSA sanctions on Algeria over its purchase? Are you going to cover that, by the way?
No, I was going to just stay strictly Libya because it's more relevant. But I can get into that a little bit.
Yeah, because they bought 14th generation Su-57 fighter jets.
Yeah, I saw that. And I think that has to do with just the preparation for the war. But I can cover that in a little bit more detail after I tie this all together.
And then I got, let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody. Shout out to my favorite sand niggas from Gaza. Thank you. Martin, how do I get into clipping for you? I got that one. Good high IQ content. Bam. Can't wait to see your brother's channel blow up. I think he could be a force in uniting Christian nationalists and Muslims against J Control. Sure. Yo, Martin, quick joke. What's the difference between... Okay. Crazy how negotiators get canceled at the same time Wendy's $5 biggie bag went to $8 after tax. That's an interesting comparison. W Brothers Real Niggas Report, and then Pizzagate is definitely real, Myron. Okay. Nobody denied it. All right, bro. Go ahead. Take it away.
Yeah, so, no, it's ridiculous what the U.S. is asking of Iran, and we're pretty much asking them to cut their legs off. They're never going to agree to these things. And so a war is unfortunately imminent. I was hopeful that these talks would go somewhere. There's conflicting reports that the talks may not happen or they may happen, but I see here by the Times of Israel reported just actually about an hour ago, and what more of a reliable source than the actual source itself. They
I told you guys we look at Israeli media a lot, bro.
Yeah, you have to.
We actually do.
Yeah, and it reads here, U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday said Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, quote, should be worried, end quote, in the wake of reports that suggested that planned nuclear talks set for the end of the week were unraveling. But the reported concerns over a potential breakdown of negotiations due to Iran's insistence that discussions focus on its nuclear program appear to
you can share it on screen if you want.
Appear to dissipate later that day. Yeah, here, I can pull it up for you guys.
If you want. Share. If it doesn't make sense, then don't pull it up. You're fine.
No, I'm going to have to screen share for a little while anyway. So here.
All right, this stupid ass nigga says, my Oregon outlaw says mic is low. No, you're just fucking poor and you got shitty headphones. Shut the fuck up. Holy shit.
My OBS is in the red. If I make this any louder, you guys will get destroyed.
Bro. My OBS is in the red too, man. These niggas got Temu headphones.
All right, so here, share. Your stream should be able to see that, okay? And then my stream should be able to see that as well. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
they can see it.
Where was I reading from? But the reported concerns over a potential breakdown of negotiations due to Iran's insistence that the discussions focus on its nuclear program appear to dissipate later in the day, with the parties confirming that talks initially scheduled to be held in Turkey would be moved to Oman. So I think the talks are going to happen on Friday. It's looking hopeful, but in terms of them coming to an agreement, I don't know about all that. But what I can say is if Iran does come to the table, that's a good sign. But like I said in the last stream, it's just a matter of if not when now. But I wanted to turn to some breaking news in Libya. This happened yesterday, and the BBC reported on it as well as several other mainstream sources. Titled here, Libyan prosecutors launch probe into killing of Gaddafi's son. If you guys don't know who Muammar Gaddafi is, he was the former leader of Libya. He was a revolutionary leader and very powerful before he was killed in 2011 by the NTC amidst the Arab Spring. But it reads here, Libyan prosecutors say they are investigating the killing of Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, son of the country's longtime leader Muammar Gaddafi. The 53-year-old, who was once widely seen as his father's heir apparent, which means his successor, was killed during a direct confrontation with 4 unknown gunmen who broke into his home in the city of Zintan, his office said in a statement. The victim died from wounds by gunfire, Libyan prosecutors said on Wednesday, adding that efforts were underway to identify the gunman. In a different version of events, his sister told Libyan TV that he had died near the country's border with Algeria. Saif al-Islam's lawyer told the AFP news agency a, quote, 4-man commando, end quote, unit carried out an assassination at his home in the city of Zintan, though it was not clear who may have been behind the attack, and I'll get into that. The public prosecutor's office said forensic experts had been dispatched to Zintan in northwest Libya to conduct investigations. Saif al-Islam was long seen as the most influential and feared figure in the country after his father, who ruled Libya, so on and so forth, was killed in 2011. So what we have here, and I'll stay screen sharing just for a moment because there's a couple other articles I want to show you guys, but what we have here is obvious intervention. Now, in terms of the assassination, I'm just speculating. There's no real evidence yet as to who could have been behind this, but if we follow the direction of the wind or we see where the wind is blowing, we can gain a little bit of a better idea. It's really important to understand that this is a direct sign or implication of the war that's imminent in the region. And here, actually, I'll go full screen for you guys. Your stream should be able to see me. Okay. Bam. All right. So it's important to understand this is an implication of the war that's imminent. I think one of the reasons why this could have potentially happened is it seems that proxy groups, which I'm about to name, are gearing up to grab as much control in the region before everything turns to turmoil. As Khamenei said in a statement, I think 2 or 3 days ago, this is going to be a regional war, and he's completely right, and it's precise, and I'll tell you why. First things first, the UAE is on an aligned axis with Israel, meaning that they're serving Israel's benefit in their favors in the region. This has been evident with Sudan, this has been evident with Somalia, and now this is evident with Libya. Why? I'll tell you why. One of the leaders in the Middle East, his name is Abdul Hamid Dbeibeh. This guy is supported by the West, and he's the current interim prime minister of Libya. He just signed a $20 billion oil deal with 2 major oil companies, one being based out of France and then the other one being based out of the United States. And in signing this pointed a lot of eyes, especially for the UAE, to make a move in the region before this guy catches too much power, because he does not have total control over the country. There's other factions in Libya that have control. Libya is a fractured country just like Yemen, so there's not one totalitarian ruler just yet, although there probably will be in coming years. And so in doing this, it's evident that the UAE is supporting one of these people. The person that the UAE is supporting is a guy, Gaddafi, the guy who was killed. And why was he killed? There's sources coming out from people as reliable as Reuters and other news articles. And his name, and he rules, I believe, in the East. His name is Haftar, Khalifa Haftar. And this guy went as far as to say that he's going to take full control of Libya, and he got a $4 billion weapons deal from Pakistan that no one knows where he got this money from, by the way. You know, hint, hint, potentially Saudi Arabia. And he also wants to take control of the country. So in essence, there's a bunch of different factions supported by different countries to try and grab control of the region. The reason why this matters, if you look back, Saudi Arabia and the UAE were in tandem back in 2019. They had parallel interests. They were both fighting Yemen. Now, in this fight with Yemen, the UAE had split off from Saudi Arabia. They were initially supporting the central government in Yemen. Saudi Arabia and Mohammed bin Salman did not want the Houthis, which is the Iranian-backed proxy, to get too close to Saudi Arabian borders. And so he started arming soldiers in Yemen, as well as bombing the hell out of Yemen with weapons that he received from the United States. I think he was the biggest purchaser of weapons in the United States in 2018. He started bombing the hell out of Yemen. UAE backed him here. The UAE slowly but surely pulled away from that military support in the north of Yemen. Why? I wonder why. They have a certain relationship with a certain country that we've said several times here. And so the UAE started supporting rogue militant groups in the south. These rogue militant groups in the south were fighting the Houthis and the government at the same time. So now you've got the Houthis fighting this government in the south, or these governing factions in the south that is supported by the UAE, and at the same time you've got the central government being supported by Saudi Arabia. Everybody's fighting everybody. This is why Yemen is so fractured. It's a very difficult war or situation to understand, and it's confused a lot of people, but there's several different proxy wars going on. This did one thing though. This actually, and this was the mistake of Israel, this eased tensions for the Houthis, because the Houthis went back, looked at the bigger picture and said, well, wait, Saudi Arabia and the UAE are fighting on our land right now. That's why the Houthis have been able to strategically survive despite all of the international tension to remove them from power and remove their military assets, because there's infighting in Yemen by the UAE and Saudi Arabia, which is really stupid, by the way. If the Arab nations had lined up, they could have destroyed the Houthis a long time ago. Because they're fighting for regional influence via a proxy war, Iran is able to capitalize, which is why the Houthis are so strong. So fast forward in 2024, 2025, UAE and Saudi Arabia have economic tensions, they have disagreements, and they eventually completely branch off. The entire world sees now, it's a public spectacle, that these countries are no longer aligned. Matter of fact, they're opposing each other indirectly via proxies. It's more of a shadow war and an economic war than a physical one. Regardless, what we see today is the UAE is fighting for control in North Africa. So that's going to be Sudan. We saw what happened in the capital of Sudan, Khartoum. They completely destroyed it and leveled it to the ground almost. And they're kind of getting back on their feet, and that'll be relevant in a moment. And they also destroyed neighboring villages, Al-Fashid in the south. Why? Saudi Arabia and the UAE are fighting for this influence for a reason. It's not just to be the big bad Arab of the Middle East. It's more so because oil is no longer the hottest commodity anymore. It's losing traction quickly. The world is moving away from oil, and it's exponentially losing value. Probably in the next 10 years, it's not going to be of any value anymore. If so, it won't be recognizable or reputable. And so Saudi Arabia is trying to move in a different direction, where they capitalize financially off of their tourism as well as their regional influence. The UAE, same thing. Here's the caveat.
UAE's ahead of them significantly.
Yep. But here's the caveat with Saudi Arabia. They're still the custodians of the two holy mosques. And although that doesn't bring in a lot of money, it still brings in enough to keep them afloat, as well as give them respect from the entire region. Those two mosques are respected by the entire Muslim world, Sunni or Shia. So Saudi Arabia has that guarantor of security regardless, whereas the UAE doesn't. So the UAE has been a lot more extreme in their proxy war, being in Sudan, and now they're getting involved in Libya. That's why it's pretty obvious that they were supporting a leader in Libya who was killed. So it seems like...
And one other thing I'll say too, just to add more credence to what you're saying, why do you guys think they fucking took over Gaza? What have I been telling you guys forever? That Gaza was going to become a beach resort, international city. They already showed, who was it? Jared Kushner, right?
Yep.
Literally, we're showing off like plans of what they plan to do with the Gaza Strip. They're going to turn it into another Dubai. Dubai set the standard where it's like, okay, we can now make the Middle East profitable off of tourism. And the Saudi Arabia, who's been competing with the UAE of who has more money and influence in the region from a tourist perspective, is like, you know what? We need to move forward. We got to get out of our old, super strict Orthodox Islam mindset. And we got to, why do you think they legalized alcohol? They let women drive. Okay. They're allowing nightclubs to open up. Like, this has all been happening over the past, 10 years, all this has happened, right, Riyadh? In Saudi Arabia.
Very recent.
Saudi Arabia understands that the new frontier, you can't rely on oil forever as electric vehicles and everything else like that starts to become more popular. You need to find other ways to make money. And Saudi Arabia is catching on that tourism is going to be the way, and they're trying to keep up with the UAE. Now, the other thing that is exactly why they're trying to take Gaza, because Israel's like, we want some of that money too, and so does the United States.
Yeah.
So we could do it better than these niggas. We don't have religious restrictions on us. We can absolutely take the market from these guys.
Yep.
So go ahead, keep going, bro. I just had to add that in there with Gaza as well. That's the new frontier in the Middle East, guys. Is going to be tourism, gambling, booze, and like a Las Vegas type effect in the Middle East. That's what they're trying to get to.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and that's very important to mention. A lot of Muslim Arabs will always make the argument that Western intervention destabilized the Middle East, which for the most part is absolutely true. But you do have to kind of point the finger at ourselves here. There does seem to be some infighting in the Middle East regarding control and influence, and that's because these guys are running out of natural resources that have kept them so delightfully paid for the last 20 years now. I mean, if you look at Dubai and the Gulf in general, from the 80s to 2005, even the change is, there's no words.
It's drastic.
It's ridiculous.
It's
turned
drastic.
From desert and camel and tents to the tallest skyscraper in the world. So it's ridiculous. But the reason why this is all kind of relevant here to the Iran situation, and I can tie it together, is because it seems that the region is trying its best to stabilize, and UAE is losing influence. So the UAE kind of lost here in Libya because Gaddafi was the guy that the UAE was banking on to take control. They had their interest in him, and they were funding him. Him being undermined and killed, and some people may point to it being Saudi Arabia. It's too vague now. I don't like to be a conspiracy theorist, and so we need more evidence before I can even make that conclusion. But it's obvious that the guy was undermined and there were financial motivations behind it. Who knows what was behind it, but one can make the inference that it was Saudi Arabia. Regardless, if this war takes place and it happens, let's say in the next 2 days or 3 days, what we will see is probably a continued escalation of different assassinations across the Middle East potentially, and even more tensions arising in this region. Why? Saudi Arabia and the UAE and these other countries that are kind of shadowy like Turkey and Qatar that get involved but they don't put their name behind it, or at least it's not as obvious, their proxy groups and their funding is going to cease because they're going to have to stabilize on the ground in their countries and put money into national security, because Iran is probably going to go crazy and attack any country that poses a slightest threat to them. What this will do is open up the region. So Sudan may see a big difference. Libya is going to see a huge difference, and Yemen, the biggest one, is going to see a very large difference. Why? Saudi Arabia is going to pull its funding probably from the core central government in Yemen, and the Houthis are probably going to lose a little bit of support from Iran as well because they're going to be busy fighting Israel and the United States. And so you're going to see a really big turnout of civil war, civil unrest in Yemen. And the problem here is this Iranian, U.S., Israel conflict is going to further destabilize the Middle East, not even because these countries are going to get involved, but because the small amount of effort that's been put into stabilizing these countries via proxies, via other resources and efforts, are now all going to be directed towards Israel and Iran. And what little headway or little steam or momentum that we had going towards repairing the Middle East, like these countries, like Sudan, like Libya, and all across really the entire Middle East, is going to be all for nothing. And the main focus is going to be this huge war between two somewhat nuclear powers, Israel being the nuclear power and Iran being everything but that, and they're almost at a nuclear weapon. So that's really important to understand. If war breaks out with Iran, everything in the Middle East reprioritizes overnight. Saudi Arabia gets pulled into deeper U.S.-Israel security stack. United Arab Emirates gets pulled deeper into the security stack with the U.S. and Israel because they have an access and a security contract. And proxies like Hezbollah and the Houthis lighten up in Yemen, Lebanon, and the Red Sea. So Saudi pulls back from these proxy wars while the UAE loses its protection umbrella That opens space for Saudi to replace Emirati influence in places like Sudan, Somalia, and Libya. Meanwhile, even Turkey may exploit some of this opening and expand its footprint too. So the bottom line here is this: an Iran war forces Saudi into statesman mode, and the UAE goes kind of into bunker mode. So this is going to hurt the United Arab Emirates, and this is going to help Saudi Arabia. But there's also a con for Saudi Arabia. It's going to really hurt their tourism, which they're pushing very hard. Mohammed bin Salman being the one who proposed the Vision 2030 that he had to push back, in this whole futuristic city, the line, and this whole thing like that. That's going to get pushed back as well. So this war has a catastrophic shockwave effect across the entire Middle East. And that's going to directly affect the United States, because we have to make sure that we're still capitalizing from a capitalistic perspective in the Middle East, making our money, getting our deals with Saudi Arabia, which has been weakening over time, and making sure that we can be the main beneficiary and have strong relationships with these countries that have geostrategic positions in places like the Strait of Hormuz and so on and so forth. So this is just, again, kind of the same redundant message, but a very certain small country in the Middle East is pulling us into an issue that a lot of Americans are going to feel. Oil prices are going to be very volatile. The economy is going to be very volatile. This war is definitely going to affect people in the United States. Not largely, but there will be some tangible difference for sure, especially over a long period of time, because this is going to be, I love the way certain people frame this. They call this these forever wars. I heard Nick say that, and I thought that's a really good way of putting it. We're probably going to be at war with Iran for, over a year at least. This is not going to be a situation in Venezuela where we go in and take Maduro out. By the way, we had assets in Maduro's regime, no doubt. That's how we were able to seamlessly take him out overnight. Whereas in Iran, not going to be the case. We're going to have lots of boots on ground. We're going to have to deal with that difficult terrain that I went over earlier. And on top of that, they have an insane ballistic missile program, supersonic missiles, that will absolutely penetrate our defense systems, in our biggest base being in Qatar. I think it's called the Udayyid, and then the other military bases. Is that what you were talking about earlier? Oh,
that's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah. I can never pronounce it.
Yeah, the Udayyid, and then these other large military bases and assets in the Middle East, they're also going to be under a lot of pressure. And what does this mean in turn? A lot of U.S. service members could potentially lose their lives. Ridiculous and absolutely not worth it. But unfortunately,
because Iran poses, just so you guys understand, they pose zero threat to United States, okay? They only pose a threat to the Israelis, which is why we're, projecting all this military might on them and trying to force them to the table. There's a reason why the Israelis aren't fighting their own battle right now, guys. They're trying to create a layer of separation because, and this is why the Iranians are saying, look, if the U.S. attacks us, we're going to attack all of your allies in the region. That's why we're going to make it. They said they're going to make it a regional war. Like I said before, the Iranians know that they can't fight the United States head on, so they have to hit them at pressure points that make it too painful to continue the conflict, right? So it's going to be a victory with a lot of losses to get that victory. And the thing also that the Iranians have to their benefit is the Iranians know that Trump is getting ready to go to midterms. They know that Trump doesn't really want a war, and they know that the base is not going to like that. So they're kind of testing him, right, to see what he's actually going to do. Now, there's also a lot of important information that hasn't been reported that I got to talk to you guys about. The 12-day war was really beneficial for the Iranians because what they were able to do was get all their weak points exposed in real time. Right after the ceasefire of the 6-day war, guess where the Iranians went? They went to China and they went to Russia. And they started spending a lot of money. Okay? They upgraded their air defense. And not only did they upgrade their air defense where they're able to detect planes that escape radar, right? Like your F-35s and your B-2 bombers and all this other shit. They also got missile defense systems that shoot these types of these aircraft down. Okay? So they got satellite from the Chinese. Chinese spy ships have been mobilizing. Chinese spies have been mobilizing. And they completely they basically pulled out all of Iran's old air defense that was either, that was Western based basically, right? And they upgraded to all Chinese technology. All right? Now, the issue here, right? You guys got to understand. When it comes to modern warfare like this, right? How you attack is 100% contingent upon your enemy's capabilities. Okay? So when the Israelis attacked the Iranians before, they knew what the air defense was like. They knew that they could sabotage it. They had assets in country. So they were able to go to confidently, right, and safely attack the Iranians, and not one of their jets got shot down in the process. Now, their spies got caught in country, right? That wasn't good, right? And a lot of them got executed and killed. But they were able to pull off Operation Rising Lion relatively easy because they knew what the Iranian capabilities were. All those capabilities that they were able to, all those incapabilities that the Iranians were, that the Israelis were able to exploit, they fixed them. And not only did they fix them and they upgraded with technology that is comparable, if not better. Okay? Now, when it comes to modern warfare, and the stakes are high, and you're talking about people dying, and you're talking about sensitive political situations, right? You're talking about a country like Israel that can't sustain long-term casualties, that can't sustain long-term warfare because casualties are a big deal for them, or the United States, where casualties at this point are completely unacceptable after the failed Iraq War. Well, all you have to show is that you have the ability to cause some serious damage. And by buying weapons and technology from the Chinese that is comparable, if not to the same level, even if it's just a level below, is still extremely dangerous for the United States. Why? Because now a mission that would have been a 100% success rate is now a 50% success rate. Now we're talking about your $2 billion B-2 bomber potentially getting shot down, or one of them getting shot down. These are losses that the United States simply can't sustain at this point politically, especially Trump.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So this is the situation that the United States and Israel are in, where we had the riots in the beginning of the year. They had an opportunity to strike, but the problem was, okay, we can strike, but are we going to be able to take them out completely? The answer was no. And if the answer is no, that means that they're going to hit you back. If they hit you back, they're going to hit you back really hard, right? Because at this point, if the United States strikes them, Iran knows it's now or never. This is an existential conflict now, okay? So they're going to start hitting oil fields. They're going to bomb Saudi Arabia. They're going to hit the base in the Gulf.
Qatar, yep.
They're gonna start shooting bombs into Israel. Hypersonic missiles. Israel's gonna have to deal with Tel Aviv getting bombed again, right? So the Iran that they attacked in June is not the same Iran now, because you guys got to understand, right? And this is another thing too when it comes to military campaigns and shit like that. The Iranians saw what Israel and the United States can do. So they're able to collect an enormous amount of information. And what did they do? They refined their defenses to combat our attack strategy. Okay? So now, when we try to use our superior air power, or when the Israelis come in with those jets, the Iranians bought weaponry and tools that literally counter the enemy. That the Chinese all have, by the way.
Yep.
So now Trump has to think twice before doing anything, because the Iranians have fortified their defenses to literally combat American and Israeli fighter jets, naval assets, etc.
And the United States is well aware of that. And I think there was a super chat earlier that asked about Algeria. I believe the United States threatened Algeria with sanctions because they were buying military aircrafts or fighter jets from the Soviets. And the main issue and the main concern of the United States, and this is something that stemmed ever since the Cold War. I said Soviets, Russia, same thing. But this is a fear that always existed since the Cold War, and the inception of the Cold War was Soviet influence in the East. And we're seeing that slowly grow. And so long as we distract ourselves with getting involved in unnecessary and irrelevant foreign wars and intervention in the Middle East, the Soviets can sneakily go around the lines and arm these different countries that will pledge allegiance to them, and that'll be able to undermine not only our power, but our ability to threaten them militarily. And another thing to keep in mind is we're kind of already at a disadvantage when it comes to our currency. That's why we did what we did in Venezuela, and you broke that down beautifully. A lot of people think that the Venezuela thing was for several different reasons, but I find the main reason was because our currency is starting to become insecure. BRICS is becoming a threat. Other countries in the East are leveraging Venezuela, and they're not listening to Trump. They weren't listening to Trump from the beginning, and they had warnings actually from the Obama administration to tighten things up. So the intervention in Venezuela was a long time coming. I wasn't surprised that it happened. Everybody's mad from this like whole moral perspective. You got to look at the grand scheme of things. The reason why we did it is because our natural resources, despite I believe we're still the #1 oil producer right now because the Middle East is falling behind, we're falling behind big time in our reserves of natural resources.
And not only that, the oil that we make isn't the oil that our refineries are built around. Our refineries in Louisiana and Texas and shit like that is built for the oil that comes from the Middle East and from Venezuela. Like that's what our entire oil infrastructure was built around.
Yeah.
So the reserves that the oil that we manufacture here isn't the oil that our infrastructure is built around refining.
Yep. Exactly.
But sorry, go ahead.
No. Great point to make there. And another thing that's very important to realize as well, this is another kind of goal of these Middle Eastern factions like the UAE and Saudi Arabia. The reason why they're meddling in these countries in North Africa is because North Africa is abundantly rich in rare earth or precious metals. And that seems to be one of the main commodities that's going to be in demand in the coming years, especially in Sudan. They have a ton of gold, and that's why the UAE has already exploited and capitalized on tons and tons of gold, and their gold reserves jumped significantly. Matter of fact, in 2019, Russia had sanctions put on them by the United States, where they were dealing with sanctions from other countries, and so they looked to Sudan for gold, and Sudan gave them a ton of gold, and in turn,
Russia, the day they invaded Ukraine, bro, Hemeti was in Russia, bro. He was in Moscow.
Yeah,
bitch ass nigga. He was there.
No one knows
he was in Moscow the day they invaded, bro.
Yeah, no one knows that, and
dropping off a bunch of gold.
And in turn, the Russians gave us a bunch of military assets that helped us kind of fight off or fend off the UAE. Or the RSF, which is the militia that the UAE and Dubai are backing. And so this is like all going in tandem. This is all connected. And I don't want to be a nut here and draw this conspiracy board with pictures of evidence and red lines drawing to a conclusion. But you can kind of see that this is drifting in the direction of us intervening in the Middle East. I'm not, anti-intervention. I think that what we did in Venezuela could potentially be beneficial short term, but long term we're going to feel the benefits. And like you had mentioned before, we kind of
I think short term benefits, but long term problems is what I think.
Long term is going to hurt.
I think it was a bad idea, but I mean,
no, we lost our moral high ground. We lost our moral.
It was stupid in my opinion.
We can't wag our finger in Russia's face anymore and tell them you can't do this and that, and then we go and remove a leader overnight like that. And I don't really care. Like, again, from a moral perspective, I think it's silly to talk about, oh, that was messed up. Look, Venezuela's happy. Maduro and the Chavez regime, they were vicious dictators, and they capitalized off of the drug trade, and they still did have a drug problem. And so what we did was not entirely evil, but in the grand scheme of things, over a long period of time, I think it's just going to be a bad idea that's fruitless, and we're not going to see any benefits from it over the coming years. Yeah, we might have a little bit of a boom now, but it's going to hurt us later. And
it's not going to offset. Like, the other thing, too, is like people are like, oh, yeah, well, it's because we're going to go ahead and go to war with the Iranians, and they're going to shut down Strait of Hormuz or whatever. Like, yo, if that happens, we're all going to feel it no matter what we got in Venezuela, okay? Because it's going to take time to, get that whole thing set up properly and everything else like that, and get the oil coming and flowing and everything. Like, it's still an infrastructure and a supply line that needs to be set up in a certain way. But the reality is that this conflict might come sooner than we expect, right? And the fact that they canceled talks, I'm surprised. I knew that the talks weren't going to get anywhere, but for them to not even meet up, I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought they would at least meet, bro.
Yeah.
But now they're not even going to meet.
Iran is sick and tired of the shit, man. Iran really doesn't want to deal with
it. You can't even be
mad
at them,
I've always told people, and I've said this many times, and I tell this to my friends when I'm educating this on this matter, I'm not a Persian apologist. I don't have a vested interest in Iran. I have no dog in this fight, to be quite frank with you. But Iran definitely has a valid grievance in not trusting the United States. We've undermined them several times. We've done crazy betrayal and backblowing deals to them. So it's only right for them to not want to step to the table, especially when we're asking them for unrealistic demands. Trump is being a maximalist, and right now he kind of needs to be a minimalist to avoid war, and then we can slowly work towards the finish line and hopefully getting them to stop at least their missiles. But that's their main asset that's protected them, especially in the summer in the 12-day war. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say his brinksmanship is not a look, and I was explaining this to my audience earlier. Trump practices a style of negotiation called brinksmanship, okay? And what he basically does, brinksmanship is the practice where you take the deal or the agreement or the grievance all the way almost to like the edge, and then you kind of tell the person when you're at the edge, all right, let's talk, right? And he does this all the time. Now, the reason why this is a problem now is because the Iranians don't have the position of disadvantage that they had before, okay? They've refined their defenses, okay? They have missiles that can absolutely destroy your ally, which is why your ally is terrified to actually hit them this time, right? The Israelis are pussy. Like, that 12-day war literally, like, made them, like, it red-pilled them, okay? Made them realize that they are not as invincible as they thought they were. And now I'm seeing, like I said earlier, now I'm seeing why the Iranians were being so measured in their responses back to Israel. Every time Israel would attack them, they'll send over like a symbolic strike here. They'd attack a little air base here. They'd do some bullshit here. But when the 12-day war happened and they got the fucking Pearl Harbor event and they actually hit Tel Aviv for real, they had to have known right there. And it's interesting because they said, yeah, this war's not over. We're going to have another one. Because once they saw Iranian capabilities, now the Israelis can literally say they cannot exist.
Yeah.
They do not have a right to, they cannot exist. We have to get rid of their regime. Now, because it's interesting, because it's like a catch-22, right? And this is why I think they funded their proxies so much, because it created a layer of defense where they wouldn't have to show their capabilities, because once you show your capabilities, it's like a catch-22, because you defend yourself, you make your opponent fear you and make them think twice about hitting you, but now they have even more resolve to destroy you because now you're an actual threat. You've displayed to them that you can destroy them.
Yep.
And when you show them that you can actually destroy them, they cannot have that in the region.
Yeah.
Right? So I think the 12-day war was very eye-opening for the Israelis. It made them realize that they're mortal. And it made them like say, okay, now we have to have a regime change. Before, right, Netanyahu, regime change. We would just kind of laugh at this nigga like, all right, bro, like whatever. But now, when he says regime change, they're like, yeah, we kind of have to do it now because like these dudes kind of do have some crazy missiles that could like fuck us up and shit.
Dude, those supersonic missiles, the videos of those hitting
Tel
Aviv were insane. Those missiles are terrifying.
There's a reason you can't find those missiles hitting on Western media.
Yeah.
Fox News, ABC, MSNBC, none of them showed these hypersonics hitting, at least not on prime time. They did not show any of those hypersonics hitting Tel Aviv and Israel or all the things.
On like obscure news sites or like X, but in terms of mainstream media, you weren't going to see any of that.
Hell no, bro. Hell no. Actually, matter of fact, you know what? Chat, I'm going to end my stream. I'm going to keep OSS up only. I want you guys to come over to my brother's stream, okay? My brother's live right now. I'm going to drop his link in here. Let's get him. He's 4,000 subscribers now. Let's get him up, guys. Guys watching on OSS, please do me a favor and like his video, subscribe to his channel. He's just at 4,000. Okay, guys. I want you guys to move over to my brother's channel. I'm going to end my shit to OSS only. We're going to go support my brother. Go watch his stream. Come over to his screen. Okay. Come over. I'm ending my stream here. I dropped the link. Let me drop it again. I'm pinning that shit for you guys too. Okay, guys, we're moving over to my brother's stream. Watch over there. Like his video. Watch him over there. We're getting off mine. We've been on for an hour on my shit. Okay, guys. Come on over to my brother's stream. All right.
Chat,
ending my stream now, chat. Come on over to my brother. Let's go.
And I'll say one more thing, and then I guess you probably have some chats you want to read. So
yeah.
Or actually, you can read the okay. Read the.
No,
chats.
you go first. Go, no, you go first. You go first.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is, I just want to tie everything I said together because I know it's all over the place, but it's a really difficult concept to explain because of how complicated Middle Eastern foreign policy is, as well as all these proxy wars. But to generalize it, what we see right now in Libya is probably going to continue to happen across the entire Middle East, and that's a shockwave effect from the war that is imminent in Iran. And this oil deal that was struck happened just about a week and a half ago, and then the $4 billion deal for the weapons that Libya had received, which I think Saudi Arabia did fund, had happened, I think, 2 months ago. So the region is kind of preparing for war. They're trying to plant their feet in their proxies and plant their feet in the areas and the territories that they control, being Saudi Arabia, the UAE, the two biggest powers. And this is one testament to it, but also just the fact that right now there's this kind of shadowy front, or there's this loose alliance being built between the Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, and they all seem to kind of want to really oppose this war. And UAE and Israel are starting to be left alone, as well as the United States. So it's not. I'm not saying it's turning into the situation where these countries are going against Israel. We know that they still have somewhat of a normalized relationship, but this again opens the door for Russia and China to get in there and say, hey, you know, we understand that the United States is destabilizing your region because they don't know how to control Israel. How about we make this deal work? How about we give you this security guarantee? And over time, if we continue to do this in the Middle East, we're going to lose all of our leverage in the Middle East, and that's going to topple us as the number one country in the world. I'm not saying it's going to happen in the next 5 or 10 years, but over a long enough period of time, if things don't change in our policies and our government, the United States will suffer a great blow, and we will no longer be the world's greatest power. So this foreign intervention in the Middle East has to go our way, not Israel's way. And if that doesn't change in the near future, we're really cooked in the next few decades. My kids will see a different America than the one that we live in now. But that's kind of just how I wanted to tie it together. Did you have some chats you wanted to read?
No, the other thing I was gonna say was I could read some chats, yeah, but I do think it's extremely important that like the audience understands that this time around, the Iranians fortified all their weak points, and not only did they fortify their weak points, guys, they fortified their weak points specifically to combat U.S. and Israeli capabilities. And this is why Trump is thinking twice about everything that he does. It's one thing to attack an enemy and show your cards. It's another thing to attack your enemy, and then your enemy goes to your ops and gets all the gear that is specifically designed to combat you. You know what I mean?
And they hid their power level for a long time. They held back those weapons for a long time because they knew that it was going to put a target on their back.
And their biggest weakness was their air defense, and they fixed that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So not only do they still have the hypersonic missiles and the ballistic missiles and the cruise missiles and the drones, now getting our fighter jets in their airspace is a big problem now, right? Operation Midnight Hammer isn't going to be now trying to run an operation like Midnight Hammer is going to be significantly riskier now.
Yep. And that was theatrics, and Iran is done with that. That was theatrics, and Iran is completely done with that. And I think what Iran can do here is just show up to Trump, like you said, his negotiation style. Just show up to Trump and talk to him. Sometimes when Trump sees that,
well, here's the thing: they're meeting with dumbass Steve Witkoff, bro.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
And this nigga Witkoff, it goes to Israel first, right? Meets with the Mossad, right? That was another thing that was pissing the Iranians off. That Steve Witkoff was literally debriefing Mossad every single time after he met with them.
And Israeli officials were just in Washington as well a few days ago. So there's that. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I think here's the thing. If they are able to get on the phone with Trump and kind of just stroke his ego, you know, respect his authority, respect his power, and say, look, your demands are a little bit unrealistic. Can you waver in some regard here? I do think there's a potentiality that Trump will pull back his maximalist demands and make this deal favorable for Iran, and that can delay or eradicate this war. But again,
you know what the problem is though?
It's just not good.
He can't make that deal happen because the Israelis won't let it.
Exactly, and so it's just this never-ending issue of.
If Trump was smart and he didn't have these guys in his fucking like pressuring him and stuff like that, he would just be like, all right, look, we're gonna go back to something like that, which is what he was trying to do before anyway. We're gonna go to a JCPOA type thing. You guys keep doing what you're doing, but we're going to have an agreement here where you guys are no longer going to attack Israel. I don't care what you guys do with the proxies, whatever. You guys are not going to concede on that. That's fine. Just don't attack Israel. We're going to have some type of agreement, right? And then also with Israel, they're going to have to do something with this whole issue, just so you know, is because they won't solve the Palestinian question.
Yep.
That's why this is all happening. Because the Israelis have been trying to kick the can down the road and not answer the Palestinian question for a very long time. They've been doing everything in their power. They try to go around it with the Abraham Accords. They try to make peace with Egypt and Jordan, right? They try to say, oh, yo, join our thing. Israel is the number here. We're here. Israel, yes. And like they do everything but want to have a two-state solution or a one-state solution where they bring these Palestinians in, bro. And that's why they have all these problems. They've been trying to avoid the Palestinian question. And I'll tell you guys why they're trying to avoid the Palestinian question. Their main reason why is because they need to keep it we're on my brother's channel, a J state. Okay? A J state means they must have 80% majority. Okay? This is why there's only 2 million Palestinians in Israel. And they will never let that thing go more than that. Just so y'all know. Okay? They need to maintain a J majority because with a J majority, that ensures that the voting always does what it's supposed to do, their democracy that they claim, right? While they also occupy millions of Palestinians illegally. So all these problems that they have in the Middle East is because they don't want to answer the Palestinian question.
Yeah, and the two-state solution, this is worth mentioning, and I know some people may call it a conspiracy, but I think what's happening right now is proving it's not. The two-state solution would have fixed all of this tension in the region years ago. But there's a reason that Israel really doesn't want to do that. And I think that's because they eventually plan on, if not expanding their borders, and, you know, there's the whole conspiracy of the Greater Israel Project from the Nile to the Euphrates. They want to really, really expand their influence. And that's impossible with Iran being in the way. They absolutely will not let it happen. And they've emboldened their proxies. They've bolstered their proxies. They've nailed them in the ground. And despite Israel and the United States systematically killing their leaders in a really strategic and impressive way, it still has not destroyed Iran or made them a non-threat anymore. These proxies are still alive and well, and Iran itself is still the home base for the ballistic missile program and their nuclear program that they're working towards at a rapid rate. And this is also going to speed them up in their program to work for nukes. And who knows if other nuclear powers are going to go through the back door and, you know, offer Iran some help, not only in their process for that, but military support as well, because Russia, China, and all the other countries with them have a vested interest in the United States no longer being the biggest world power because of our poor intervention in the Middle East, all the way spanning back from 2003. Yeah, really the 1990s, when we started funding the Mujahideen against the Soviets.
Yeah, and I will say that from a strategic perspective, the Russians obviously have an interest in Iran being preserved because obviously it borders them. And then the Chinese have an interest because they kind of get to test their toys through the Iranians, have some influence with the Iranians, get cheap oil from the Iranians. By the way, all of this military equipment is coming at a discounted oil price, right? And keep in mind, when their entire infrastructure, their military infrastructure is based on China, what have the Chinese done? The Chinese now kind of control Iran to a degree, right?
Yep.
So there's just so many benefits for China there where they're able to weaken enemy, test out their toys without being involved, get oil at a discounted price, and challenge U.S. hegemony without even having to fire a shot. So the Chinese are getting a huge W off of this.
Yeah.
And they armed the Iranians with all of the weapons that that combat our strategies, our weapons, our air fighter jets, right, our bombers, etc., our naval assets. So this is what's keeping these guys up late at night in the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Right. If you guys look, there's a Twitter page that tracks like pizza orders at the Pentagon, and anytime pizza orders are up, that means they're there late night, like trying to figure what they're gonna do and stuff like that. Bro, over the past couple of weeks, they've had a lot of these like, you know, super high pizza orders in Washington D.C.
Yeah, it's
really interesting.
It's a shame. We fought so hard for our influence throughout American history, and it's all being undermined and thrown away in the trash for Israel. And these other countries are going to capitalize on our weakness very soon, and they're going to make sure that it hits hard and it hits home. So we
spent way too much time. I've said it before. We spent way too much time in the Middle East, wasting resources, energy to fight pointless wars that honestly have not really benefited us that much in the region at all.
Yeah.
You know, we fought in Afghanistan for a decade plus. We were there for 20 years almost, right? And what happened? The Taliban are back in power.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
That's why people famously say we lost that war. And even if you may argue that we dealt a bunch of damage and we dealt good blows and we put a fracture in their economy and their government, for what benefit was it for us? I mean, we took away nothing except dead soldiers and an economy that was no longer bolstered. And you can argue about the oil, but we already have those assets because we're allied with very strategic partners in the Middle East that supply that for us and make sure that the petrodollar stays on top. And, you know, I was looking at a video earlier of Fox News. They were reporting on the Iran war and Trump and everything, and I was going through the comments, and I was absolutely taken aback. I could not believe the amount of support that there was for this war to ensue. And it showed me, this is kind of why I really want to do this with my brother, because there, as much as you guys may think, man, this whole topic of being red pilled about Israel is redundant, there is a large, and you could argue it's Gen X and it's boomers, which I agree with, but there's still a really large sum of the population that has no idea why this war is horrible for our country and our economy. And so that's why I work very hard with my brother to try and get this stuff out to you guys. And despite the redundancy that you may hear, and hopefully we gave you a different spin and angle, there's still so many people who need to hear
the
this.
Chinese angle, nobody's talked about that. I haven't seen people talk about why the United States is reluctant to attack. It's because the Iranians got a whole bunch of new gear from the Chinese chat.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen anybody reporting that. They got radars, they got new radars, they got new air defense that literally is designed specifically to shoot down our fighter jets and B-2 bombers and identify them, okay? They're designed literally to identify planes that cloak themselves to try to disguise themselves from radars, right? So they're and they've placed them right around the nuclear facilities, by the way.
And they're hanging out in the Caribbean. So that's a whole nother problem too.
Oh yeah, the Chinese are all over the Caribbean.
Yeah, so
no, but a lot of Americans don't know that.
Yeah, so we have much bigger. That's why it was, I don't want to say refreshing, that might be a little bit abrasive, but it was kind of cool to see, oh, the U.S. has intervention somewhere else except the Middle East, which was why the Venezuela thing actually surprised me, although it kind of was brewing and you can sense it was coming. It was a nice, refreshing thing to see, because it was like, oh, we are doing something for what seems to be our own benefit. I don't really buy the narrative that had any benefit to Israel, although there's people on X who speculate. You got to be very careful in tying things back to Israel unless you have the evidence and you can draw the red strings from picture to picture to draw the bigger conclusion, which is important. A lot of people in the community don't have the ability to do that. So it's really cool to see that Trump makes the attempt to put America first, but he's compromised, and I'm really sick and tired of his shit. And it's probably not going to be long until he deals with some serious problems come November for the midterms.
Yeah, and the other thing too, also, right, with the midterms is Trump can really face an impeachment and go to jail.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Also, that I think the Chinese upgrade, the fact that we're going to have a regional war if this happens, the fact that our allies are going to get attacked, and then also, most importantly, the fact that will certainly make him lose the midterms, 100% lose the midterms. These are all things that are keeping him from attacking, right? So just horrible timing, honestly, from his part to put such a big armada there, and hope for, and kind of hope like, oh yeah, we're gonna exercise some brinkmanship, we're gonna force them to the table, and all this other stuff. And yeah, dude, it's just like, and they're not gonna get rid of their ballistic missile program. I don't care what, like, that's the only thing that's keeping them from getting attacked.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I said yesterday it's probably going to be the case that Trump doesn't find it as difficult to go with Iran in terms of attacking them, because I just think that it's a lost cause right now for the midterms. I don't think there's any way he can win back recognition or credibility at this point. And matter of fact, what's headlining in the news is that he's pulling 700 ICE agents out of Minnesota. So he's already pulling back on his America First position, and it seems like he's hedging closer to...
Why is he pulling 700 out? I didn't even hear about that. When did that get reported?
That was reported, I think, today. Here, I have the article here. I was going to actually pull that up. Let's see. Yeah. 700 immigration agents leave Minnesota today, Trump's border czar says. So this is reported by BBC. And it seems like, especially, I kind of sense this with his answer in regards to the press really bothering him, bombarding him with questions in regards to Alex Preddy. I already knew once he gave that half-assed answer and it wasn't full-winded in terms of justification for what had happened, this was probably going to happen. And it makes sense. I mean, there's civil unrest, and he never invoked the Insurrection Act. And so this is what you get when you don't stand on business. And he has a bigger vested interest, and that's where the dollar sign is with attacking Iran. And I think that his donors could potentially, if he attacks Iran, in turn, repay him the favor by keeping some Democrats out of the House and Senate in November. I think that could be the angle that is potentially going to become the reality in the next few months. So that's probably what he's banking on at this point, because that's where the money is, and that's what could potentially keep him in office, or support him when he's becoming or he becomes indicted. But yeah.
And I'll tell you this: if a Democrat gets the next round, we're all cooked. We're all, bro. Everybody's going to jail, bro. I don't think you guys like, yo. Okay, let me read these chats, and I'm going to go into what the doomsday of what's going to happen. He don't love you says, do you guys believe we'll see the greater Israel in our lifetime? Probably. Guerrero says, OSS soldiers help our brother Riyadh by liking and subscribing on his channel. Hit the like button. Let's get him to 2K likes. Yeah, guys, let's get him 2,000 likes. He's got only 681 likes right now. Let me refresh the page. Yeah, guys, let's get him to 1,000 likes, man. Smash the like button on this video. Okay, do me that favor, OSS guys. China makes once a railroad network throughout the Middle East. Yep, they definitely do. Could China enter the war inside Iran? No, they're not going to do that. They're just going to arm them with all the weapons to fight. Speedy says, I know I asked this many times, but sometimes this year, do you do a stream where you cover the hidden truths of 1972 Olympic massacre? I think I covered that already, bro. Riyadh, do you think Algeria acquired this fifth-generation jets due to tensions arising between them and Morocco?
Yes.
And Morocco being huge allies with Israel and the U.S.?
Exactly. Yes, that was a very good point. I do think that Algeria is becoming wary of Morocco, and they're starting to view them as an Israeli proxy state or a proxy state funded by Israel. So Morocco is not necessarily a threat, but Algeria,
they're in the
Abraham Accords,
the Abraham Accords,
Morocco
they are.
has great relations with the United States and Israel, and so Algeria just wants to strategically make sure that their military capabilities match that of Morocco, so they're never outmatched or undermined in that region, which we've seen happen repetitively when countries don't have firepower to keep themselves secure. So that's a very great observation.
If Israel has us in their grip and we will end up fighting a war in Iran for them, what can be done about this? Not much, bro.
We're cooked, bro.
You ain't a billionaire, nigga, so sorry. Like, you're not Ronald Lauder, you're not, Bill Ackman, you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not, who's the guy that bought TikTok?
Larry Ellison.
You're not Larry Ellison. You know what I'm saying? You're not Jordana Cutler running Facebook. You're not Mark Zuckerberg. You're not Adam Massari.
Yeah.
You're not Muriel Madelson. Sorry, bro. It's an exclusive party and you ain't a part of it. If Israel has us in there, okay, sorry. W Brothers, the OSS Army, thank you so much. A smile, subscribe, welcome to the OSS. KZ Dan says, Myron, Trump is bluffing about going to war in Iran. The people in his cabinet are pressuring him hard, though. If Trump gives them a full hard no, we could be looking at a false flag event or worse, another JFK. I think Trump is playing chess with them to maintain a relationship without going to war.
One thing I'll say. I don't think
you understand how much in their pocket he is, bro. This whole 4D chess thing is cope, man. You guys got to bro. This guy, you guys got to remember, Trump comes from the real estate market, the real estate world in New York City. Like, don't forget, like the background that he's from. Real estate in New York City. Come on, man. I don't even need to go further. Go ahead, Rad. What do you want to say?
No, facts. People give Trump way too much credit. Bro, Trump is sometimes smart, but he ain't that damn strategic. And one thing I will say is probably look for a false flag. If this gets halted and Trump is able to make an agreement with Iran and Israel and somehow get this to come to fruition in the next few weeks, I sense that something that will probably spark up another grab at war is some sort of false flag attack. And it hasn't been as common these days. I mean, you can argue what happened in Australia was, but definitely gear up for that because the propaganda in the Hasbara is about to go sick.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is, man. It absolutely is. Let's see here. Myron Gaines fan says, W. Myron brother, does your bro have a screen name yet? How do we super chat to him directly? Hopefully, guys, we can get his monetization on soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Hopefully. Guy says, Iran also bought jets from Pakistan after they saw how well they performed in a mini war with those jets, if I'm not mistaken, are Chinese.
Yeah.
That's why they bought them.
Pakistan is very powerful as well. And like I said, they just supplied Libya a bunch of weapons, and they're kind of on the side of Saudi Arabia. They built that little pact when Saudi Arabia noticed that Qatar got bombed. And so Pakistan is also joining that shadow alliance with Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar as well to kind of stay secure and amidst this destabilized situation with Israel and Iran.
Grease Merch says Lebanon needs to beef up quick because they are next.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the thing is that Lebanon is weak right now. So the Israelis are seizing this opportunity they're seizing this opportunity to go after the Iranians. Ken Rose, $5. You two are literally the Spider-Man meme when they're pointing at each other. Holy shit. Okay. I don't think me and my brother look alike, but that's fine. Can you talk about Sarah Stock and Elijah Schaefer affair? It'd be a good RP topic. No. Elijah's a friend. I'm not going to kick him while he's down. No, thank you. Chop the soldier, and I don't care if I lose views on it or whatever. Like, no, dude. I'll let him come out and give his side of the story. No. Chop the soldier said I spent $25 on a super chat link in the YouTube comments on Monday. They never got read. I was trying to clown the cow whisperer. I don't know. I don't know.
Chat.
Send the link again, I guess. Razor, while the petrodollar is in flux, China's economy is a complete paper tiger that can't replace the USD. China is soon contending with growing middle class away from the manufacturing population decline due to decades of one-child policy, no transparency. Yeah, we understand that, but China's growing quickly to replace and fix a lot of these problems. So what's up? Damn, I don't have it with me. What else here? So yeah, I get what you're saying, bro, but yes, China has its problems, but it's a rising power, my friend. Yeah. U.S. placed so many assets in the Middle East to make it a deterrent for Iran. China's tech equipment is just IP copy, but they are not kinetic battle tested whatsoever. See Venezuela. If there were no rules, Iran will fall within 24 hours. See, and it's a mindset like that that gets people killed, bro. It's that mindset right there that literally gets soldiers killed. Yeah. Literally gets soldiers killed.
Could the war be quick and seamless?
Bro, if they were that cocky, if it was really as if it was like, oh yeah, they haven't been tested kinetically and all this other bullshit, the White House would have struck by now, bro.
Yeah. If you guys don't think that Washington has the absolute drop in intelligence on Iranian military assets, then you're foolishly mistaken. We know that this is going to be a long-winded war with several casualties and loss of military equipment that's going to dent our budget for sure. So that's a crazy
I love these niggas here. He literally says, U.S. placed so many assets in the Middle East to make it a deterrent for Iran. China's tech and equipment is just an IP copy, but they are not kinetic battle tested whatsoever. See Venezuela. If there were no rules, Iran would fall within 24 hours. Bro, Iran isn't Venezuela, you stupid ass nigga.
Yeah, that was a foolish thing to say. And
like, what?
That doesn't even deserve a response.
Yo, it's hubris like that gets us in trouble.
Look, and I don't want people to misunderstand. The United States, by far, is the strongest military power in the United States. The issue
in the world.
I'm sorry, in the world. Yeah, I misspoke. And the issue is that gap is shrinking real time. Every single time we intervene in the Middle East, even if it's a marginal difference, pennies will add up to dollars. And we are going to see a time, we're not pulling back from our vested interest in Israel. We're not pulling back from supporting them militarily or financially. And so long as we continue that, we're sleeping and our eyes are closed. We're not watching our hemisphere. Other countries are going to come in, swoop when we're not paying attention under our noses, undermine the things that we capitalize off of financially, and before you know it, we no longer will be the strongest country in the world because these other countries recognize that we are the strongest, and they will work together for the greater good of maintaining their power over ours and eventually dethroning us. That's the problem. If this continues over 10, 15, 20 years, it's only going to exacerbate until the point where we don't see the same country that we live in today. That's the issue. It's not that it's going to happen overnight. It's not that, we'll defeat Iran and then, yeah, of course, we can nuke Iran out the damn sky. Nigga, we know that. But that's not realistic, and we don't want to do that. We want to de-escalate. Anyways, I'm already getting triggered. Damn.
No. It's like idiots like this that create issues, bro. Like, dude is literally saying, like, he's comparing Venezuela to Iran with their military capabilities.
Yeah,
bro, you're dumb.
It's even in the same ballpark.
Bro, you're dumb. You're fucking dumb. Like, you're really dumb for even like trying to compare the two. You've not been kinetically tested. Shut the fuck up, bro. That hubris is literally what gets American soldiers killed, bro. If they were Venezuela, like you claim, we would have attacked them back in January. Stupid. We would have attacked them back when they had all the riots, when they were at a weak point. Why did we not attack them? Why did we not attack them? They're weaker now than ever before, allegedly. They had riots all over the place. Their soldiers were busy shooting protesters. Why did we attack back then? I'll tell you why. Because Trump is getting real-time advice from his generals. He's getting threat assessments every morning. He's probably getting threat assessments every hour at this point. Mm-hmm. Okay? He's probably getting intel briefings every hour on what's going on. And the fact that we haven't attacked tells me, and that should also tell you if you weren't a smooth-brained retard, that clearly, if we attack, we do not want to pay the price of the retaliation. Do you understand? I've been explaining this to you forever. Yes, the United States can win. Yes, the United States will beat them. But are we willing to deal with the consequences of winning? And the answer is a big, profound no. We can't sustain casualties right now because everyone's memory is still fresh of Iraq 2003. Okay? People are based on the J topic now, and they know why we're there in the region. The MAGA base is completely aware of the foreign wars in the Middle East and who it's for. Midterms are around the corner. He has a whole issue on his hand in Minneapolis. Political nightmare. Going to war with Iran right now would be a political suicide. And like my brother said, it's not about winning the war. It's about, are we willing to deal with the losses for winning? Winning is a foregone conclusion. That's not what we're talking about, stupid. The military disparity that these other countries have, that we've had on these other countries, that benefit, that disparity that we've been enjoying, it's slowly eroding. Okay? It's been dissipating over years. We don't have the same military edge that we had 20 years ago. This is not the 1990s where we ran into the Middle East and saved Kuwait and told Saddam, get out of here, bullied him around. Okay? Soviet Union at its weakest. Chinese still trying to figure out what they're going to do. Like, this is a multipolar world now, my friend. So times have changed, and that mindset is exactly like you watch Fox News too much, bro.
Yeah, it sounds.
And
like
that mindset right there, that's the boomer mentality. That's like, America, nobody can stop us, and that's exactly how we get fucked up.
And let's say we topple the regime. What benefit is there for us? Zero. That only benefits Israel. So even despite everything on top of that, there's no benefit in toppling the regime at all, and they want nothing to do with us.
Whatever. Let me. The nobody says, "Happy belated, Myron, 26 male, nurse from Miami here, and have been listening to you for a couple years now. Appreciate all you do. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Keep up the good fight. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you, nobody. His name is the nobody. Appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate you greatly. Guys, smash the like button on my brother's video, bro. He's sitting at 827. Let's get him to 1,000 likes, if you guys don't mind. Hopefully we can get bro monetized and help him escape the matrix. So, okay, Riyadh, what else? Did you want to talk about Pakistan?
No, I think that was really it. I just spoke
Somebody asked me about Pakistan earlier. They said, why does Pakistan not have, how does Iran not have a nuclear weapon with Pakistan or whatever? You know what I think, bro? I wouldn't be surprised if the Iranians didn't have one of the missiles that the Pakistanis have is theirs.
As if they're like you're saying they're sharing weapons. What do you mean?
Like, yeah, like basically there's a nuclear weapon or a couple of nuclear weapons there that the Iranians actually own or manufactured.
There could be a reality to that. And look, that's what I was saying earlier.
And they're not going to say anything about that because obviously that will create issues for Pakistan. But Pakistan has always been kind of like, a double crosser.
Yeah. And one of the valid holes, I believe, of the JCPOA that was formerly...
And I don't think... Is Pakistan a part of the IPT? I don't think they're a part of the IPT.
Pakistan is like kind of in the shadows. And this is what's kind of unsettling is when Qatar got bombed by Israel, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia said, yo, we have to lock in because this country knows no bounds and the United States cannot tighten the leash on these guys. Yep. And that, like I said earlier...
That was a big red pill for the Middle East, bro. That was a big red pill.
That was a shockwave. And so the entire Middle East said, we might have to set aside our differences here and build a coalition for the greater good of us still existing because this country knows no bounds and they know no limits. And Pakistan got involved with a pact and a safety pact in Saudi Arabia, which pretty much said that...
Bro, they were there like the next, within days. MBS flew to Pakistan and they had a meeting, and now basically Saudi Arabia has nuclear weapons.
Well, he was terrified. He saw that Israel really could just enter any airspace and bomb them, and the United States did nothing about it. I think Trump got Netanyahu to say like some half-assed apology. There was nothing.
Get him to make a phone call.
Yeah, there was nothing that was done about it. And so to answer your question, Pakistan is definitely this secret asset that a lot of countries in the Middle East are now looking towards because they have a great deal of military capability. They have a nuke, despite what other people say. And on top of that, They seem to probably
only Muslim country with a nuke.
Yes, they're the only Muslim country
that's
with
a big
nuke.
one.
And they're not really the Middle East, but almost. And on top of that, what I was going to say is formally introduced by Obama and his administration. At the tail end of it was the JCPOA, which I covered in detail 2 days ago. So you can go check that out on my brother's channel or my channel. But I think a part of the terms, if I'm not mistaken, was that you just can't do the nuclear stuff here. If you want to send your scientists somewhere else to figure this out, then by all means, you're allowed to do so, at least for now, until we move forward in this plan. But the nuclear plant here and all of this business that's going on your soil, you got to slow it down and you got to halt it. And so Iran agreed to that. And to me, that kind of sends the message that potentially they may have just been like, all right, you know what? No problem, United States. We'll take that deal. And like you said, they may have ventured over to Pakistan and said, hey, let's work together on this because we got to do this in the shadow or the secrets. And
Bro, I have no doubt in my mind that Pakistan probably has a deal with Muslim countries where they store their nuclear weapons there.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows that Pakistan already has nuclear weapons, right? And a lot of people don't know this. The Saudi Arabians actually, because Pakistan dealt with a lot of international blowback and sanctions for having nuclear weapons and testing nuclear weapons, the Saudis, a lot of people don't know this, the Saudis actually supported Pakistan and kept their government from being destroyed from the sanctions that came from them doing the nuclear testing. So Pakistan has always kind of had owed them a favor. And I think that's where MBS came in and kind of cashed it in. But I would not be surprised, bro, if some of these Muslim countries didn't have a nuke in Pakistan being held there on their behalf because Pakistan's already dealing with all the BS already.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's precisely, that's why, no, it's a very good point. That's why I'm very terrified of this war, because I think that it's going to have a blowback that other wars have not had in a while. And remember, too, the population has grown in being red-pilled over the topic of Middle Eastern foreign intervention. So not only is this war going to be really stupid and non-beneficial for us, but there's going to be a lot of unrest in terms of politicians and just the general population of the United States opposing this, because we are just now, we're still dealing with blowback from Afghanistan and Iraq, and we're still kind of dealing with the repercussions of that war. If we see ourselves get involved again, not only is there going to be turmoil in the home country in terms of, or our home base in terms of politicians switching sides, Trump not knowing who's on his side anymore, and a little bit of instability in the Senate and the House, but more importantly, countries that we were not even expecting to get involved in the Middle East might take this opportunity and backdoor us, give Iran more support, or China and Russia get involved and seize the opportunity, because they've done that historically, and they wait for us to do stupid shit, and then they kind of sneak through the back door and give the country that we're opposing, or other countries that we've been opposing while we're distracted, more military aid, more weapons, and they play off of a really good sales pitch, which is, hey, the United States can't control themselves, come work with us. And that's precisely the framework that I look at this from, and that's why I'm really terrified of this war taking on 6 months to a year timeline, because that's more than enough time for, you know, our adversaries, if you want to say, to gain a lot of momentum, and, you know, in the next 5 or 10 years, we'll feel that blowback big time. But yeah, it is what it is. We'll see what happens in the next few weeks. A strike could happen in the next 5 minutes, or a strike could happen in spring or summer. But I think it's definitely guaranteed at this point. We're at least gonna strike something or somewhere in Iran. And Trump has a big ego, and he doesn't like to be told that he's bluffing.
And this does look bad for him too.
Really bad. Ayatollah and the Iranian regime are saying you're bluffing. Do something about it. You know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you covered the drone thing earlier, but that was also, yeah, that was also another bad look as well. So it strategically, we're kind of looking dumb, and we have a really huge presence in the region. And right now, it's either do or die for Trump. So
and it's also created a really ugly thing too. The Iranians now, right, have basically demonstrated that the U.S. is willing to scramble a fighter jet to shoot down a drone. Are they going to do that every single time? How expensive is it to scramble a fighter jet to shoot down a drone?
Yeah.
Right? The Iranians can send out thousands of these things, and the U.S. is going to scramble to shoot them down.
Yeah.
Are they going to do that every single time? And just so you know, like when they're in international waters, they got a bunch of drones and they collected information on them there, and they didn't shoot them down because they're in international waters.
Yeah.
So, like, again, this comes into what I explained before. When you're in the enemy's territory, they have a significant advantage. Significant.
Yeah.
And it costs the U.S. $10 million a day to keep that fleet out there.
Yeah.
If not more now.
And that's what I was saying earlier. This is draining the hell out of our defense budget. And we've got a big one that can take a blow. There's a big cushion, but it's just like, for what purpose? You know, it would make sense if there was something that we would receive in turn for it, but there's none. And somebody just said in the chat when our midterms, and that's going to be in November this year. But yeah.
Oh, and also keep in mind too, guys, aircraft carriers, I hate to say this, man, but they're like kind of defunct military technology, bro. They're big. They're easy to sink, right? The Iranians can absolutely sink aircraft carrier. We're talking about what, $5-6 billion? 6,000 military personnel on board?
Tons of Americans on board, yeah.
Thousands of Americans on board, right? It's basically like a floating house, bro. It's like a floating apartment complex almost. Not even, I know, but floating a neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's huge, okay? 70 fighter jets plus, right? Thousands of military personnel. They can sink that thing right away. And that's another reason, too, guys, why they moved. They had to get out of the lethal zone for that aircraft carrier. And they have hypersonics that will literally just slice right through their air defense.
Yep.
So that's a big reason why they moved. The drones compromised them, and then they obviously it was too dangerous.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people, I just saw somebody in the chat mention Epstein, if we're going to cover Epstein. Look, the Epstein files are groundbreaking, and it's honestly shocking. A lot of the things in there are disgusting. Some things are a little bit more backed by truth or substantiated than others, but I think that this is a lot more important, and this is really getting lost right now in the media. The Epstein files are completely burying this story and the developments that are taking place, and this is a lot more relevant to United States politics and kind of the state of the country than you would imagine. There's no surprise that our politicians are involved in weird kind of potentially occult pedophilic tendencies. I mean, that's been the conspiracy for years. So I am a little bit surprised that people's entertainment with these files. Some of them are very interesting, and some of them confirm things and lead us to other pathways of navigation for uncovering more truths. But I think for the most part, the Epstein files are just going to continue to run the news, and there's going to be more developments that come out about how Epstein had blood sent to him from Mormon girls or these different things. And at some point, the returns are diminishing. So don't get me wrong, I'm definitely paying attention to the Epstein file because I saw a couple people in the chat mention it, but there really is nothing more to be said aside from the fact that the most important thing here is our politicians and the people in power in our country who have a lot of money are compromised by an asset that belongs to a foreign nation, that being Israel. And whether he was an agent or an asset, it makes no difference to me. An asset is an agent. You're working in the interest of another government to get our politicians to do things in your favor. And that's really what's important. I want to see more coverage on that from people on the right.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, I don't think, has Bongino mentioned the Epstein files?
I've been paying attention. Let me check.
I know he's like really mad at people and like going after them and shit like that, but I don't think he's mentioned Epstein files. And look, I think for him, for Bongino, he had to realize, like, okay, if I stay here longer, it's only going to hurt me. And the thing is that he's got to eat all the decisions that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel make. He's just the deputy director.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he has to eat all the fucking bad decision making that they have. And I remember that he was going to leave. I remember he was literally going to leave when the Epstein debacle first popped off. So,
he's under a lot of heat right now. Actually, I'm looking on X. The Dan Bongino show is muting people if you mention the word Epstein. That's on his Rumble stream. So, yeah, he's shutting it down right away. And then, as expected, I don't expect him to be vocal about that. And look, there's good coverage on the Epstein files, and I think it's entertaining to some degree. And I think there's certainly weight to it, and there's really disturbing things in there. But, I mean...
Yo, Rad, give me a wrench. Make me a mod on your thing. I'm commenting in your chat right now.
Hang on. You know what? I just gotta log in through OBS.
I just put in test. Yeah, or you can just go on here, open up a tab, and do it. But yeah, no, I know he interviewed Trump. I covered that on my show earlier. It's on OSS. And look, I like Bongino, but the Epstein thing, he had to make a decision. I think he said, no, I'm not gonna fall. I'm not gonna go down with this ship, dude. I'm not gonna go down with the ship, and he left because at the end of the day, he was not the he was the decision maker.
Yeah, here I'm about to give you.
Pam Bondi was taken. Oh my God, bro. I call her Pam Blondie.
Yeah, and actually Pam Bondi and Trump were, or sorry, Pam Bondi and Kash Patel were trying to push this under the rug months ago as well. So this is blowing up in their faces as well. Okay, I got you here.
You gave me the wrench? Yeah, make me like the top mod, whatever it can be.
Moderator. Standard or managing? Standard.
Managing.
Managing? Okay, hang on.
I'm about to send somebody to Shadow Realm, nigga.
Check, can you do it now? Or hang on.
Let me see.
New here. Give me a second. Add as moderator. Okay, managing. Boom, you should have the ability now.
Okay, let's see here. Let me see. Got to send. Oh, yeah, here we go. Shadow Realm time. Yep. Enjoy. You guys already know in the chat who got fucking sent to the Shadow Realm, bro. All right. You had to give that. Send that dude to the Shadow Realm. What else? Was anything else? So we covered Lebanon, or sorry, not Lebanon. We covered Libya. We covered Gaddafi's son getting killed, assassinated. And you think that's a play of what's to come? Anything else Middle East wise that you want to cover?
Yeah, no, that's a shockwave of what's about to come. But other than that, the main story is to just really pay close attention to these negotiations and hope that they make some progress and we're able to delay this, because the longer we can delay it, the more we can come up with different ideas. At least the administration come up with different ideas to make both parties happy. But I don't think that it's going to be possible with how rudimentary Israel is in their same old ways. So yeah, that's really it. I don't know if there's something else that you guys wanted us to react to, but that's kind of all I wanted to cover, and we'll see if developments pick up. Other than that, the news has been a little bit slow. But the biggest thing that I was really upset about was
what's the latest with the Epstein stuff?
Can look at some Epstein stuff.
Yeah,
here.
Pull it up real quick and let's see.
And see if you have some. Do you have any chats or?
Let me see here. And guys, do me a favor, like my brother's video. What are we sitting at right here? And we got after hours coming up very soon. We're at 9:36, guys. We're 70 away from 1,000. So give him a like, guys. Okay. And you know what's funny? I was telling these guys earlier. They're like, "Oh yeah, Myers' brothers were more refined than he is and calmer." Blah blah blah. Like he's gonna surpass Myers. Like as if like that's supposed to hurt my feelings. Like I was explaining to them how like we're cut from a different cloth over here. Like there's none of this like weird jealousy. Like I can't let my brother overtake me. I gotta be the star. Like bruh, if he overtakes me, good. Yeah. Like we want, like my dad always like was saying like, yo, I want my son to be better than me, right? Same thing with my little brother. I want my little brother to be better than me. If he overtakes me, like I don't care, bro. His money's my money, man. What are y'all talking about? Like I don't care.
Very true.
So, we operate on a different code here. All right. So like, there's none of this weird sibling rivalry or any of that other stuff. Like I am a proud older brother. If you guys think my brother's more refined than I am, then fuck yeah, let's go. I did a good job.
I think what some of them meant as well is that like I'm just not as radical and like making fun of people and stuff. But of course I have to be controlled. You know, we're on YouTube and
yeah. We got it. We can't get you banned right away.
Yeah, I got to be careful with that. But of course, I mean, me and my brother are not the same person. I thought that's what they had meant, but I was gonna also say thank you guys for the outpouring love for anybody who's new here. I said this earlier, but there's probably a lot of new viewers. I really appreciate all the DMs and stuff that I've been getting, and me and my brother are going to continue the show moving forward, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, but no, I just had to say that because I thought that was like funny. But people say that like as if like that's a trigger or something like that. I'm like, no, I want my brother to be better than me. Like that is the goal. Like what? That's one thing. Let me say this, right? This is gonna sound weird, but I'm gonna say it. That's one thing in American culture I don't like sibling rivalries and like looking at your family members like as like in that way. Like that's not the way we were raised, guys. Like we were raised very close. Like I said before, we grew up poor. My parents really didn't start like making money until my brother became older.
Yeah.
I was already at the house at that point. But like we're just not raised that way. Like my parents are the type of people. If I told my parents tomorrow, hey, I want to move back home, they'd be like, yes, come back, yes, be in the basement, hang out with us, yes. Like that's what they want. Okay, they would like I come from a very tight knit family where we support each other, we love each other, we want people to do better than us. Like there's none of this weird jealousy dynamic.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that's one thing that about American culture that I really dislike. That Arabs we don't have.
And that's exactly why Jewish people are
like
so
that's
successful.
Weird.
That's exactly why Jewish people are so successful, because they do the exact opposite of that. They don't infight.
They don't infight at all, especially family-wise, bro.
Yeah.
Hell no.
A Jew will never go against a Jew, even if they're not related in any sense. And if we admired that closely and try to emulate some of those actions, we'd probably be a lot farther as a country, and even in our individual races, whether you're black or whatever. I mean, the black community would be a lot farther along if we kind of took up our own interests as well. So,
I've always thought that was weird. So, like, when people say that, I was just like, okay, man, yeah, that's great. So, yeah, you're never gonna see like none of that weird brother jealousy. My brother surpasses me. That's the goal. That's the point. That is the point, my friends.
Yeah.
Man, my brothers are exactly the same, and we're raised the same. Albania background. Are we ever getting rid out in after hours? Soon. Martin, did we see Epstein was in Ukraine and Putin said that Zelensky was Israel's puppet? I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he is one of them boys. Martin, you're using the bootleg Shadow Realm soundbite. I know a much better one from the main show. Let me know if you want it. All right, K to the damn Z. Okay. Give it to me on the next show. The Third Right says, speaking of Epstein, did you read his email about black people ought to be banned from having guns? Where on the last part he said, oh yeah, I did
see that. Wait, what?
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. Epstein was kind of funny though. He was kind of fun. Yo, those emails
can I
were
pull
funny,
this
bro.
up? Can somebody put that link in the chat? That's funny. I
don't want you to get in trouble, bro, because he drops the N-bomb on it.
Okay, all right, fine.
Yeah. Not yet. Right, but yeah, your boy Epstein was definitely aware of.
Damn, that'd be actually so funny. All right, that's all good.
Tolman says, Martin, appreciate this greatly. Thank you for the J-pill. A time to attack Iran. Kronig talks about Iranian nuclear program provided by the Pakistanis. Love. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they were holding a bomb for them, guys. Cryptic says, is Zuckerberg really a Zionist? He's married. Yeah, he is a Zionist, bro. He put Jordana Cutler in power. What do you think?
Yeah.
Jordana Cutler runs like their whole censorship regime. She used to work for Netanyahu.
Netanyahu's right-hand woman. She was right under him. Yeah.
She was like his aide, bro. Like straight up his aide. Like, and she is now the head of like one of the censorship things of all of Meta.
Trust and safety.
Not just like her official title is like head of diaspora relations, but what that really means is censorship of both Instagram and Facebook. Army Meta vet says, we will not blow through Iran. I was in Iraq in 2003 during mission accomplished. That statement got a lot of soldiers killed. Yeah, you're right. And bro, I'm telling you, we are more red-pilled on the topic of the Middle East than ever before. We got a bunch of soldiers in this chat, as a matter of fact. I know Punisher 541 is one of them, where they got blown up in Iraq and they said never again. Okay? Like, the scars of Iraq are still very fresh. And the thing is that it took a decade, 2 decades, but people are finally coming out and realizing, connecting the dots, that the Iraq war was completely unnecessary, made no sense. There was no reason for us to be over there, and people died for it. People lost limbs for it. People got disabled for it. And veterans, a lot of the times that went to Iraq, are some of the biggest antagonists of another war. And I'll tell you guys this, the Iranians are far more capable than the Iraqis. And the environment is far less forgiving.
Yeah, and
Mr. Rams, welcome.
They've sat back in the region and watched and taken notes for years, so that's another thing as well.
Restless Viking says, you have Trump derangement syndrome on the left and Trump arrangement on the right. Opposite to the lefties, they don't question anything about Trump, right? Yeah, like again, we on this side, we will give Trump their credit. We will give credit to Trump when he deserves it, but we'll also go ahead and criticize him. And I don't like his foreign policy in the Middle East at all, especially when he's campaigning on no new wars. Sky King says, not sure if your sister is politically aware like you and your brother, but if she is, maybe you could do a family stream one day. She's a doctor, guys. I'll never put her in that spot. She's already suffered enough because of me, bro. People doxing her and stuff like that. My sister was like a real life professional, for real. She's over here like saving lives and stuff like that, you know? So, and she's not like a dumbass like doctor. She like does, what is it, dude? Like,
urology.
Yeah. So, Maizam says, Sneeko wants to have a religious conversation with your brother since he's educated well and he's done Hajj or Umrah.
I've done Umrah. Yeah, I did Umrah when I was 14. And inshallah, I want to do it again. But I did it when I was 14. It's kind of vague. I can't remember. I wasn't as educated on Islam as I am now. So I can't tell you all the details, but it was a crazy experience. So, yeah, no. Did Sneeko really say that? That's cool.
Yeah. I set it up. If Sneeko wants to talk to my brother, I think it'd be a fantastic conversation. My brother is very aware.
Yeah,
pretty much has the Quran damn near memorized.
Yeah, shout out to
Our
Snake
boys, after Iran, they will go after Pakistan. Yup, they will go after Pakistan after that. That's the next That's the next threat for the Israelis. The Israelis are not going to stop.
Yo, if Iran, by the way, if Iran loses, the whole Middle East is free game. I said that before, but you really got to get that. Like, everybody's cooked. Like, everybody's going to be like me when Iran falls. So that's another reason why we kind of have to, like, take their side in an indirect way, because this axis of resistance that they've been so powerful in keeping afloat, or so strong at keeping afloat, is the only thing that's keeping Israel from constantly doing similar behaviors to what they did in Qatar, which was kill a bunch of innocent people and fail to do anything that actually benefited them. So that is very important that they stay in power, because there needs to be a power balance. That's kind of how the world works. That's why people have nukes. So if there is no power balance in the Middle East, you think we're going to be able to restrain Israel when they want to take things over? We're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Here to love that you guys believe we will see the great Israel in our lifetime. I think I read that one. The debate brothers, where you have Q&A in public, America needs to know about them. Yeah, like I said, we'll have to. We will, but my brother's got to hide his power levels right now,
Slowly
bro.
but surely, yeah.
Actually, that rabbi that you sent me is hilarious, bro. What's that dude's name again?
I can pull
that
up.
dude on Instagram?
Yeah, and I forget his name, but
pull up one of the funny ones real quick, and then I'll get then we'll close this thing out here soon.
What time is your after hours?
11 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna pull up this Truth Social tweet by Trump really quickly. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, you got to read in the Trump accent though.
Yeah, I got you.
Yo, from now on, you have to do the Trump accent every time you quote him, bro.
Yeah. Okay. So here, I'm gonna screen share really quick.
Someone said, Mikey said, Myron, do you think Poon is compromised due to Shabbat connections, bro? Yo, do you guys not understand these niggas got power everywhere, bro? Like,
yeah, but they have influence there as well. Wait, what did you ask me to pull up? Sorry. Oh, the rabbi, I got you.
Yeah, what's the rabbi's name again?
Something with a T. I can't remember. But the reason why it's so funny here, let me just get this pulled up.
Taking out the trash on your chat, by the way, too, for all the
chat is unmoderated, so I'm sure there's plenty of.
Yeah, we got a lot of haters, so that's cool. I'll send these niggas to the shadow room. I have no problem with that. A lot of you guys, I'm about to put you niggas in Toon World, bro. Yeah. You guys can go hang out with the other fucking primates in there.
You're having fun. So I thought that this was really funny. My stream should be able to see this now.
Yeah, they can see it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Trump takes to Truth Social. I don't know why he uses Truth Social, but anyways,
it's a rebel against Twitter.
Yeah, I guess. Probably why Musk had a black eye. Trump probably punched him.
All right, we hit 1,000 likes, by the way, bro. Down to Marco.
Appreciate it, guys. Damn, I wish my stream could hear it. Yo, there's no way to get your soundboard to play on my stream. I
gotta adjust my audio and fix this thing, man.
Leave it alone. No, it's not worth it at all. So Trump takes a Truth Social. This is like 2 days ago. Absolutely just lies. Like, I mean, this is just the craziest attempt at a cover up. He should have just shut his mouth. I don't know why he even went on to try and repair what is unrepairable. Your name is mentioned like 5,000 times in the files, and then he goes, not only wasn't I friendly with Jeffrey Epstein, but based upon information that has just been released by the Department of Justice, Epstein and a sleazebag lying author named Michael Wolff conspired in order to damage me and or my presidency. Nigga, you were dancing with him in Mar-a-Lago on video. What are we talking about, bro? That was your man, bro. Yo, this was like, come on. Like, Donald, like, and the claims in there are crazy, and I know they're not substantiated. I don't want to, like, give it too much weight, but, like, bro, like, this was your guy, bro. Like, what are we doing here? Trump is so oblivious sometimes. So much for the radical left's hope against hope, some of whom I'll be suing. Additionally, unlike so many people that like to talk trash, I never went to the infested Epstein Island, but almost all of these crooked Democrats and their donors did. This is what he played off. This is what he played off as well. He tried to say that the Epstein files were a Democratic hoax. Like, nah, bro, them shits are real, bro. What are you talking about? Well, no Democratic hoax, bro. Those are a Republican reality. And it's not even a matter of left and right. Everybody was compromised in the Epstein files. I just thought this was hilarious, and I don't know if anybody saw this, but really bad attempt at
saying
trying
like
to-
he wasn't friends. Like, bro, like y'all were best friends for a while. Like, I get it. Like, he stopped being friends with him. He kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago and banned him and stuff like that. But you can't deny the fact that y'all were like close friends for a while.
Yo, bro, they were jamming together, bro. What are we talking about?
Yeah, they were womanizing and all that, bro. They were 100% womanizing.
They were niggas. They were niggas, bro. Like, I don't know why Trump be trying to. Here, matter of fact, let me pull this shit up right here.
Is the probably the party from the 90s, right?
Yes,
like,
bro.
I like that girl. Yeah.
Yeah, like let's read this post on Truth Social, and then let's watch this video, and you tell me what you think.
I already know what you're about to pull up.
Like, bro, what are we doing here? Give me 1 second. What are we doing?
Here's the thing, bro. Yo, I would say me and my brother are very fair. Like, we both like Trump, but we also like call out, like, come on, man.
Yeah, bro. Like, are you serious?
Come on, nigga.
This is
like,
the same
bro.
guy. Remember the Truth Social post I just read? And this is him, bro. With Epstein. That's not your man's. Come on, bro.
Do you have it on your screen?
Yeah. Oh, are you not able? You should be able to see it. Oh, here. Sorry. Yeah, you should be able to see it. Are you not able to see it?
I see it on your YouTube, but I don't see it on my screen for some reason.
Oh, screen sharing is paused. Sorry. Resume. Here, hang on.
Yeah, because it's playing on your YouTube stream right now. I see that. I see it's playing on your stream. Okay, now I can see it.
Boom.
Yeah, I remember that back in 1992.
Everybody knows this video, bro. This video is surfaced.
And he's like telling him like, hey, that chick right there is hot, bro.
Yeah, he's calling out. He's like, yo, this bitch is bad. That bitch is bad. Nigga, this wasn't your boy. What the fuck are we talking about? Yo, bro, this is crazy, bro. This video, and I'm not trying to be like a demo, because I get really careful. I'm very careful in attacking Trump, because then people go, oh, he's anti-MAGA. He's on the left. Relax. So that's why I'm careful in attacking Trump. But at the same time, bro, let's not be stupid here and lie. This guy is pointing out potentially underage girls with the biggest pedophilic, satanic cult leader, ringleader.
I think at this party, all the girls were of age.
Okay.
But we don't know what they were doing before, because I think this was like an actual party where they were drinking booze and stuff like
bro.
that.
He's womanizing.
Because like cameras, keep in mind, bro, cameras were there.
Yeah,
so
bro.
like, you know what I mean? The news was there and stuff. So this probably like, yeah, there was like, 21-year-olds and stuff.
Let me set the scene and highlight this hypocrisy. He's womanizing with a Mossad asset who literally blackmails the shit out of Americans for Jewish interests, while making sure that the blackmail is of pedophilic nature. And then niggas want to have fun in a club a few weeks ago, and now we can't go into any establishment in the United States. Like, bro, what are we doing here? The fact, bro, how are these niggas who are in the Epstein files? You got Bill Gates over here typing up, hey, nigga, give me some pills. I got chlamydia. You got all these other people who've been compromised to an extreme degree. Niggas want to play a song in a club, and now bro can't even go to the damn mall or club in Miami. The double standard is crazy, bro. Really crazy. But this video,
and now I'm banned from Van Dobe.
Yeah, bro. Now
like, I'm banned from every club in Miami.
Now niggas
Meanwhile,
can't. Go ahead. What did you say?
No. I'm saying I'm banned from every club in Miami. Meanwhile, this nigga was compromising everyone on her. Yo, that's crazy. Bill Gates said, yo, if somebody shares their STD stuff with you, bro, come on, man.
Bro, like, yo, he had these dudes compromised, bro. The kind of expose that can be done on several high-profile names with the files. It's 3.5 million, and we haven't even probably gotten through 10% of them. Is insane. Yet you guys, we don't know who played the song. The song just came on, and niggas had a good time. And then now, all of a sudden, now no one can go out in public in Miami, and I gotta be careful when I'm in Miami. I gotta act like I don't know you and shit, or otherwise they're gonna ban the shit out of me too. Like, what's going on, bro? So this.
Meanwhile, this dude was out here like compromising billionaires.
Meanwhile, look at these niggas. Why these niggas can still go to the club? What the fuck? This nigga probably alive in Tel Aviv right now, bro. That's some bullshit. Nah, I do believe he's dead. I don't believe he's alive.
Yo, and not only that, yo, bro is compromising like billionaires, and like not only was it compromising them, you know what he did to Bill Gates? He told Bill Gates, "Hey, yo, not only am I not going to give you the chlamydia medication for you cheating on your girl, I'm also going to make you donate $1 million to MIT on my behalf, bruh."
Yeah, bro.
And he did it.
Yeah,
and
bro.
he did it. He caught the money. A lot of people don't know that. Bill Gates would give Epstein the money to donate to MIT and these tech schools, and Epstein would be like, "My name's on it, though." And he would say Bill Gates' money to do it. And then he would take that research and he'd give it over to the Israelis because they wanted tech.
Bro, it's crazy.
Bro,
It's crazy.
That's wild.
I wanna
Imagine
see-
declining somebody. Yo, that baddie that you got me, man, she got me an STD, bro. I need a pill. Nah,
Yeah, bro.
I'm not giving you no pill. But you need to give me $1 million for MIT, though. Come on, bro. Yeah, man. Give me that $1 million. I don't care.
Bro.
Okay, here's the check.
Bro, it's absolutely unbelievable. I'd love to see what
Yo,
guys
he was
like
punking these dudes,
Matt
bro. He was
Walsh has to
punking these
say.
dudes.
Yo, let me set the scene. You're a billionaire with tons of influence in the United States, and everybody in your clique is like, yo, Jeffrey Epstein is like that. This nigga has a jet. This nigga has an island. And you're like, okay. This is kind of the only crowd I can hang with because I have a shit ton of money. So let me go ahead and step into the circle that I belong in. Jeffrey Epstein invites you to his island. Niggas got cameras set up everywhere. You end up doing something you're not supposed to do with a girl who's 17 and 364 fucking days old. And now Jeffrey Epstein's like, hey, nigga, I have this in 4K. So you need to send $1 billion to XYZ. And if you don't, I'm going to blow the lid on this and your bitch is going to leave you. Of course, like, bro, this is exactly how our fucking policies have been shit for so many years. No wonder we're fucking doing this in Iran. Look at the shit that's going on behind the scenes. This is ridiculous, bro. So it is really, really like sick. I don't want to take away from that. But the bigger picture is this guy had serious blackmail. I mean, Bill Gates is very powerful. I was shocked to see Bill Gates' name in those files.
People forget.
That
Bill
nigga drafted
Gates
up the email. Go ahead.
Bro, for a majority of my lifetime, Bill Gates was the richest man in the world, bro. For a majority of my lifetime.
This nigga had
Elon Musk shit, like, is new, bro. Bill Gates been a billion. Like, he been a billion for a long ass time.
This nigga had Bill Gates on his knees, bro. Imagine being a multi-billionaire. You could not count your money in your lifetime if you tried. And you have to beg this nigga on email, yo, bro, please don't say anything. And I need a couple pills for this clap. Like, bro, what the fuck? Or this is what Mossad assets can do to the most powerful structure in the United States. We're cooked. We're cooked. We're absolutely cooked. That is really scary. I thought that was scary. I was looking through the Epstein files and I saw Bill Gates' name and I was like, whoa. So there's something to be said about that. There really is something.
Bro, how do you think the Israelis be compromising Microsoft, bro?
Yeah, bro.
With the malware and all that, all the viruses. Yo, that's crazy. Bill Gates, man.
Yo, now Elon Musk gets to fucking wipe his brow and go, God damn, thankfully I never got invited to the
they
island.
probably got him too, bro.
Yeah, potentially. Yo,
I think they got him too, bro. Being honest, yo, he bought X. ADL hit him with the whole, he's just anti-Semite, blah, blah. Nigga went to the camp.
Very true. Very
true. He did the
true.
tour.
Yeah, very true. That's a good point. Yeah,
they take you to the memorial thing. It's over. It's a wrap after that. They give you the talk.
And the claims against Trump are really crazy, and it can be, I guess, regarded as speculative. Look. If you were to ask me, I think that Trump has probably done some really fucked up things in his life? Of course he has, and you kind of have to add this border of maturity when you're looking at people in great positions of power. Guys, if you can't understand this, you cannot be helped. There is no such thing as an ethical billionaire. You cannot get to that level of fame, status, power without doing some really disgusting and evil things. That doesn't justify what he did, but I don't know why anybody's like shocked. I mean, I wasn't shocked, unfortunately, but that's maybe because I've always been aware of the severe reality, which is, the people in power are really sick behind the scenes. But what I'm worried about is not what they've done before. At the end of the day, they're going to continue to do those things. The next guy who's going to come in office probably has done the most disgusting and heinous things as well. So that's something that's really out of our control. What's in our control is stop fucking shilling for a country in the Middle East that's destroying our government and our economy. That's what I'm more concerned about. But it is sick, and it's definitely unsettling. It's disheartening.
And the other thing, too, about billionaires that people got to understand is, like, billionaires naturally are going to be globalists by definition, bro.
Yeah, bro.
You don't reach that level of money and net worth without having intense international interests, okay? Like Elon, for example, loves China, even though they, make EVs that are going to maybe put him out of business.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So like, as a billionaire, you're always going to have international interests. These guys are globalists because they have to be. You don't reach that level of money without being one. You can't be a nationalist and be a billionaire at the same time. It's damn near impossible, bro.
Yeah.
So that's something else that people need to understand as well when it comes to like this billionaire class of people. And the other thing too about them is they don't live in the real world. Like they think they're above the law. This is why people like Epstein and stuff like that. Like these guys are they were doing all this crazy stuff because they thought they were untouchable.
Yeah. Yeah. They really did. And that's why the emails are so powerful, especially the ones with Ehud Barak, by the way. Those ones actually were a big deal to me because first of all, when Epstein is sending these emails, for him, he's making the presumption that no one's ever going to really see any of this. I mean, there's
unless he exposes it
and thousands of emails, and he's not thinking in the next 20 or 10 years that this is all going to be exposed in this mass drop on the U.S. public in coming time. So it is telling, you can tell that these emails have this obscurity to it where he never suspected that they would be seen before. So you do have to take that into account. You know, I don't want to discredit the people that cover the Epstein files, like I said, and I'll continue to harp on the point that it is really disturbing and disgusting, but I just am kind of shocked of how people are surprised. It's like, why are you surprised? You know, you really have been living under a rock. If anything in those files made you surprised, these are the sick people that are always going to run the world. It's kind of how like everything works. And if you're religious, then you should know this is kind of how the scripture has panned things out as well. But
one of the guys also said Epstein had God mode on for extortion and blackmail. Bro, I'm telling you that, his attack power was 99 on that.
Bro,
attack power 99.
It was methodical and it was disgustingly brilliant. It was disgustingly brilliant, and that's exactly why our government is controlled when they think of methodical ass shit like that. I mean, of course they're gonna have leverage over our affairs in the Middle East and all over the world. You got any chats?
No, I think I read them all, bro. Okay. Cool. So, guys, we went for 2 hours, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast. We covered Middle Eastern affairs with what's going on. Keep you guys up to date. You know, if anything crazy pops off, obviously we'll come back on again, like right away. But I think we'll go live on Saturday is what I'm thinking. Yeah,
we'll go live on Saturday
or Sunday or both those days.
We'll cover what's going on in that current time, but the news is kind of slow for now, aside from what's going on in Minnesota.
Yeah, the Epstein files is eating everything right now. Even the Minneapolis stuff is taking a back seat.
The Epstein files is going to continue to be kind of the same thing over and over again. Like I said, I don't know why people are surprised. You got to pay to play.
People want me to watch the Steve Bannon interview, but I feel like that's a nothing burger, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing there like that. People got to understand. Steve Bannon is also like kind of like a publicist / advisor. So Steve Bannon did that interview in a 60-minute style to try to repair Epstein's reputation. So that interview was really like a reputation cleanup interview, is what the goal of it was. So obviously it's not going to go into like the things you guys want to hear about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I will say this: they mentioned Jesus, and bro, the rage level started escalating.
What was said specifically?
They mentioned Jesus, and he said, "Wait, wasn't he a carpenter?" And just started.
No way.
Yo, I'm telling you, bro. Yo, it's just like the J set just started spiking, and you can see the rage go through his face, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. If you mention Jesus Christ around a certain group of people, you will be ostracized. They don't even say his name; they say JC.
Yeah, the really devout ones. Yeah, they'll call him JC, or they won't say him, or. Yeah. Ben Shapiro almost broke character when Joe Rogan mentioned him.
Yeah.
Right.
And for those of you that don't know, I'm sure a lot of people are red-pilled on it. Sneeko and other guys have done a really good job of exposing this, but Christ is revered in Islam deeply. But of course, theologically, the difference comes in terms of the deification in Christ and then the Trinity. But if you blaspheme Christ, you take yourself out of the fold of Islam. You can't blaspheme any prophet, and you can get almost annihilated in Muslim countries for trying to make fun of Jesus or any prophet. So it is crazy how, we're demonized, but we have a lot more in common than people would think.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, we are going to go ahead and do Fresh Fit After Hours here probably in about 45 minutes or so, 11 o'clock. We're going to try to go 11 o'clock sharp. I think we got some of the girls rolling in and stuff like that, so it's going to be a good time. And then I'll be back tomorrow to do the debrief with you guys. We got my brother to 4.4K for subscribers, man. 1K likes, awesome. That's great.
Appreciate the love, man.
And yeah, man. Hopefully we can get bro to leave his Matrix job. So, awesome. I think that's all I got right now. Okay, this guy is being an idiot in the chat. Whatever. Okay, cool. Brad, do you have anything you want to say to the people?
No, thank you for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. I try to give you guys a little bit more of a different perspective as to the situation in the Middle East and how you can kind of always draw something back to the tensions that are arising and growing, and it's probably going to continue to get worse. So hopefully you guys have a better idea of what's currently developing, and I hope I did a good job Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on X. I'll probably start posting on X or maybe like just retweeting stuff or whatever because I'm getting a lot of followers or garnering attention on there. But really, again, I really appreciate the love. Shout out to OSS. I'm rocking the merch today as well. There's certain merch that I can't rock, but at least on stream right now. But really appreciate everything. Like I said, I can't stress that enough. It means a lot to see like thousands of people come in, and it shows that this guy's got motion. He just tells people to do something and they do it. So it shows how influential you are as well. But yeah, bro, go ahead and get some rest because you got probably another stressful couple hours ahead of you.
I'm just gonna shower and get ready and do the other show, man. So
who's doing it with you? Walt's not back, right?
No, he is back. He got back yesterday,
okay,
so
nice.
I'll be on with him, and then it'll be a good show, man. We'll do some after hours. It'll be his first show back, and then we got a big announcement tomorrow on Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna get even with YouTube. So
yeah, absolutely.
Marnie, still interested in joining the service? Long story. Hi, IQ guy says mine. I got my IQ score to 132. Okay, congrats. Epstein, I got mode on for extortion. All right, cool. All right, guys. I'm gonna end the stream. Go over to Fresh and Fit on YouTube and Rumble and everything. We're going to be live over there. I'll also probably start it up on Mario Gaines X and end it within 45 minutes to an hour. But yeah, thanks for coming on, bro. And me and you we'll be talking. So anyway, guys, love you, ninjas. I'll see you guys in about 45 minutes or so. Yeah,